the city here, and we're standing by now for Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock.
This is a Storm Team 12 weather alert.
And good evening, everybody. If you're just now joining our coverage here, we have several different areas of western Kansas under tornado warnings, including Ford County and Dodge City. We've got a confirmation now of a tornado taking place with the storm off to the south and west of Dodge City. I want to zoom in just a little bit tighter so we can get a better idea of exactly when this thing's going to be coming into Dodge City. And you can see there is definitely a little bit of a notch showing up here. This is well to the north of Mineola. Of course, Dodge City up here at the top part of your screen. I think we still have about 10, maybe 15 minutes before this potential tornado, if it stays on the ground, before it gets into Dodge City. But we just got a report. The timestamp on it is 5:54. Indicating to us that there was a tornado taking place with this particular storm. Just want to double check and make sure that we've got everything correct here. Once again, 5 miles, well, it was 9 miles to the north of Mineola. We did get that report of a tornado. So this is a dangerous situation here in Dodge City. We don't know if the tornado will still be on the ground as the storm comes into the city, but there's still that strong likelihood of that happening. The radar looks a little funky maybe to you because the Dodge City Doppler radar is right here. The storm's going to pass right over top of the radar, and sometimes that sort of blocks the signal that comes out from the radar, something we may have to deal with here as the storm gets in closer to the city, but obviously a very dangerous situation here in portions of Ford County. Merrill, you've got some
Yeah, Ross, I've got the couplet that we look for on the Doppler radar, and you can see here's Dodge City right there. That's where the radar is at the airport there. And if you look right down through here, let me get my pencil set up, and I'm going to try to work this left-handed, and I'm a righty. But you can see right in there, a very bright shade of green next to some reds. Not perfect, but it is a strong indication of rotation around the storm. Green going toward the radar, red coming away from the radar. So you can see that area to the southwest of Dodge City. That's the area of concern with this particular thunderstorm as we continue to monitor that movement to the northeast. Further to the north, not as good as far as the indicators go of that rotation with other thunderstorm activity that's off to the north, but we still have several tornado warnings that stretch across Ness County, eastern portions of Lane, back down into northern portions of Hodgman County. All, again, very, very dangerous situations with all of those thunderstorms. Take those tornado precautions if you're in one of those areas right now. I understand we have Lance Ferguson on the line with us now. Lance, tell us where you are. What is it that you're seeing right now?
Merrill, I'm currently about 4 to 5 miles north of Mineola. I'm getting ready to come up on 283. It's 283, I believe it is. I do have a tornado on the ground as we speak. It's a needle tornado. I'm looking off to my west, northwest. It's a needle-sized tornado at the bottom, but it opens up to a standard-sized tornado at the top. It looks like it may be trying to generate a few multiple vortices around the upper end of it. I am being able to see some debris towards the bottom, so it is kicking up dust. I'm going to continue to keep moving that direction and try to get a little bit closer to it, but right now I do have it pushing on the stream. It is now starting to get wider, Merrill. It's becoming a standard-sized tornado. That needle is no longer there, and it's still kicking up debris at the bottom. So it is a good-sized tornado that's about ready to come down with multiple vortices.
Lance, we have your stream live on the air right now. We can see that it's passing behind some trees in between, but we can see that it is getting a lot broader in the top portion of it. As you mentioned, there was that needle sticking down to the ground. Obviously cannot tell exactly whether it's still in contact with the ground at this point, but do you have some estimation of about how far away you are from that tornado, or at least that funnel cloud?
Merrill, I'm going to estimate that I'm probably 2 to 3 miles to the southeast of it. Now I'm a little bit closer. I'm a couple miles away from it. And, yes, I've got definitely debris on the ground. It is kicking up a lot of dust. I'm going to be moving in a little bit closer to it. I believe I'm coming up on the highway here. And so it's going to be over – actually, to be honest with you, it's over by where the wind farm is to the southwest of Dodge. I can't tell if it's actually in the wind farm or just short of it, okay. But it's definitely on the ground and kicking up dust.
But it's still several miles away from Dodge City itself, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, very good.
Yes, it's still got a ways. But Merrill, again, if this thing stays on the ground and continues to grow in size, the direction it looks like it's going, it could come into the Dodge City area here very soon.
Okay, Lance Ferguson is there with the storm to the northwest of Mineola right now, and it is headed at least somewhat in the direction of Dodge City as we speak. I want to send it over to Rodney Price with more. Rodney?
All right, thank you very much, Merrill. Yes, we're watching not only Lance's feed, but also we have several other storm chasers in the field this afternoon, and there we go. We've got the pictures again, once again, from coming in from Lance, reporting that tornado in progress as it continues to take place right now. Lance, I can tell you, his vantage point here is he's making his way areas south of Dodge City. He currently is about 10 miles off to the south of the southern edges of the city limits of Dodge City, and he is tracking that tornado that you can see in the video as we speak. But we don't have only Lance there. We also have Storm Team 12 chaser Mikey Gribbles in the area. Also, can tell you Brandon Ivy is following this storm as well. We've been watching his video there, and boy, you can see the size of it there, certainly increasing a little bit there. Intensity, that again, this is from Storm Team 12 chaser Lance Ferguson, who is in the field about 10 miles to the south of Dodge City. Tornado that is in progress in southern Ford County and making its way to the northeast, it looks like at this point. We're going to attempt to get Lance here on the phone here momentarily, but this tornado certainly has increased in size as we show it to you live on the air right now. Again, this is a tornado in progress, southern parts of Ford County. Lance, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm getting you transferred into the audio booth so we can get you on the air. There we go. Hopefully we'll get Lance back on the phone there, but there you can see we do not have Lance. Okay, it's in progress there, but you can see for yourself there a considerable debris cloud being kicked up there at the bottom of the storm. That's where the tornado is touching the ground. And we continue with our tornado warning there for, again, this is a tornado warning for Ford County. It's going to be in effect until 6:15. Now, obviously, we're going to be getting some new updates here because we'll be coming up on that in less than 10 minutes. But the tornado continues in progress. It's in view, the vantage point right now, and not only of Lance, but I can tell you Brandon Ivy's not far away from him, too. He's had the video in his screen there. It looks like it's moved just a little bit off the screen there, but we're going to put it back on Lance's video so you can see for yourself as we get the pictures there of the tornado remaining in progress. Lance Ferguson on the air. Go ahead with your report.
Rodney, I'm located 7 miles due north of Mineola. I'm looking to the northwest, actually west-northwest. This funnel continues, this tornado keeps continuing to pop the ground. In other words, it's kind of what we call a jump roper. It keeps popping the ground, goes back up a little bit, and then comes back down. Just a little bit ago, it did rope out, but then right as it roped out, it refocused and is now touching the ground again. It does look like it is tied up in where the wind farm is southwest of Dodge City, and I can definitely see debris being picked up at the bottom. She is a average-sized, cone-shaped tornado. It's starting to fill in a little bit more better at the bottom, and it's becoming a little bit stronger, it seems like. It looks like she's got her act together a little bit right now. And now it seems to be moving a little bit more off to the north-northeast than it was earlier. So it is starting to move that general direction.
Yeah, Lance, I can certainly see in the distance there. I can see the wind farm there at the bottom portion of your screen. And boy, you can really tell some very violent ragged motion there with the wall cloud and the funnel. You can definitely see the large debris cloud now popping back up there at the bottom. So we certainly have contact with the ground. This is still a tornado. As Lance zooms in there just a bit, you can see the look there at the bottom portion of your screen. You can see those the wind farm turbines there in the distance there. Can't tell you whether or not that's right in within the wind field or the wind farm, or if it's just off between the camera and the wind farm. The tornado is. Can't tell quite for sure, but boy, you can really see that rapid motion taking place at ground level as we continue to watch this very dangerous storm in the southern and southwestern parts of Ford County as we maintain that tornado warning that's in effect until 6:15. Ross?
Very much, Rodney. It's been a while since we've checked out the radar. We really need to set this up for those of you in Dodge City, just to give you an idea of what kind of distance we're talking about here to the south of town. This is a fairly significant storm that's underway now to the south of Dodge City. We're trying to give you as much time to prepare for this as we possibly can. But from where the tornado is to Dodge City, it's still several miles away, about 10 to 12 miles to the southwest of Dodge City. And you've been watching live pictures coming in from Lance Ferguson indicating and just kind of reinforcing the significant danger that's out there now in southwestern Ford County. You can see the circulation here on the back part of this storm to the southwest of Dodge City. I'll bring on the wind indicators here of Doppler radar, and there you probably don't even need me to pick this out, but there you can see it right now. It's well to the east of Ensign. It's well to the southwest of Dodge City. Once again, we're talking about 10 to 12 miles straight to the southwest of town, and now a new tornado warning popping up there. This coming in just live on the air. This is coming from Dodge City. And basically, as we've been watching the pictures, tornado confirmed 7 miles to the southeast of Ensign, moving northeast at around 20 miles per hour. You can see the circulation continuing to work its way basically to the north. And if you're in Dodge City, you are included in the tornado warning. You need to be seeking shelter below ground because this continues to be a very dangerous storm. We're also watching other tornado warnings. We've got several different storms to the north of Dodge City. Merrill's got some additional information on storms up there in Lane County.
Yeah, Ross, and we are watching again. We're seeing that couplet, as we call it, where you see the reds and the greens close together and bright colors indicating stronger wind speeds. And look at this one right here. There's Dighton, there's Ness City over there. The Lane-Ness County line is right here, just to the right of this couplet. And we're looking from the Dodge City radar, which is down here below the bottom of the screen. So green is going toward the radar site, and then the red is going away from the radar. And I don't think it takes much imagination to tell that that is creating that rotation. And it looks like we just got a new update on that. So this is for folks well to the east-southeast of Dighton, to the south of Alameda, and then it looks like into the western portions of Ness County. Again, well to the west of Ness City. It's not quite into Ness City as of yet. I want to put on the regular radar display, and you'll be able to see. There's the storm, and you can see it's quite impressive. It's actually multiple thunderstorms here all together, but it's the one that's here right along the Lane-Ness County line. That's the one that is presenting us a problem as far as that goes. But you can see more with the storm in Ford County. Ross, have you got more on that?
Well, we're definitely still getting multiple reports of tornado on the ground. This is about 7 miles to the south and east of Ensign. That's the circulation that you're looking at here. Now, we have a couple different red boxes that are drawn here because the initial tornado warning, I believe, is going to expire at 6:15, but then they put out this new box that's showing up, which cuts off just to the south of Dodge City. But I want everybody in Dodge City to take tornado precautions because we're watching the video coming in. This is a large tornado that's been reported with the storm. And what do you do if you're new to Kansas and you're unfamiliar with tornado precautions? That means getting below ground. That's always going to be your safest bet in these kinds of situations. Now, if that's not available to you, you probably have about 10 minutes. Maybe your neighbor has a basement and you can go seek shelter with them. If that's not an option, closets and bathrooms are good places to be. You want to put as many walls between you and approaching tornado as you can, because any debris that's flying around in a tornado, if you can put more walls between you and that, the safer you're going to be. That's why we tell you to do such a thing. But you're looking at pictures there on the left part of your screen. Those are live images coming in from Lance Ferguson, who's been watching this storm now for the better part of 2 hours. But with that storm continuing to show kind of a northeasterly movement, it's probably going to be another 15, maybe 20 minutes before that circulation will get in closer to Dodge City. And maybe it will weaken long before it gets there. We just don't know. But this circulation has been getting stronger and stronger over the last 15 to 20 minutes. And this continues to be an extremely dangerous situation here in portions of Ford County. This is just one of several confirmed tornadoes that we've had today. And you know, maybe we can take that picture full screen if we can, guys, as we take a look at these live images coming in. This is, again, to the southwest of Dodge City, about 10 to 12 miles. You've got what I would describe as a large tornado basically stovepipe. We're almost same width at the cloud base as we are down at the ground, but these are live images coming in. This is north of Mineola, about 7 miles to the southeast of Ensign here, well to the southwest of Dodge City right now, but you can see why we have the tornado warning continuing for Ford County, because we continue with the tornado that's on the ground at this current time. Just want to double check and make sure we haven't missed anything. We're monitoring feeds coming in from the National Weather Service emergency managers, and we still have a number of tornado warnings that have been issued. Pawnee, Rush, and Trego County now under tornado warnings. That's going to take us until 7 o'clock. As you watch this image again, this is from Ford County. Maybe you're just now joining our severe weather coverage. Our first tornado of the day was near Scott City, and then we've had some occasional brief tornadoes, but by my account, this is the largest tornado we've had today, taking place now to the southwest of Dodge City. Let's go back over to the radar. We do have other severe thunderstorms we need to tell you about. We can leave this image up, but I do want to go back over to the radar and show you really quick, because we've also got another tornado warning that's to the south of here that we need to address before we get any further here. And this has been a tornado warning that's been ongoing now for several minutes, and let's double check. This is a storm that's been to the east of the Liberal area, and a tornado warning continues for southeastern sections of Seward County, also southwestern portions of Meade County, but I don't see any real well-defined circulation there, so maybe that warning will be allowed to expire or canceled early if we don't see anything additional developing out of that. Obviously a very dangerous situation here. Merrill's monitoring storms to the north of Dodge City. Merrill, you've got some additional details.
Yeah, I do. This kind of doesn't look all that significant when you just take a look at the one thing on the radar, and that's the reflectivity, what I like to call the regular radar that people are so accustomed to seeing. But you see the little notch in through here. Here's Jetmore, so this is Hodgman County right in through here. As we switch on over to the wind field with that storm, here we go once again. Green toward, red away. We've got some circulation here in the very northwest corner of Hodgman County. Movement is basically to the east right now with that storm. So for folks there in northern Hodgman County, you are under a tornado warning. It'll be a very good idea to take those tornado precautions. With more, let's send it over to Rodney Price at the Chaser Desk.
All right, Mara, I want to tell you we've got a very impressive picture here of the tornado. I want to sort out things here. We're having some video issues from Mikey. We're going to have Mikey on the phone here in just a second, but we have video from Storm Team 12 Chaser Brandon Ivy, who is also out there just south of the Dodge City area, and you can see for yourself, very large tornado that's showing up right there, almost in the middle of the video screen there. Again, we're going to be talking to Mikey Gribble, who is on this very same storm. Mikey, tell us where you're at again and what you're able to see here this afternoon.
I am 1 mile west of 283 and 2 miles north of Wildfire Road. I'm probably about a mile to maybe a little less than a mile to the east-southeast of the large tornado. It's probably about 200-300 yards, probably about 200 yards wide at the base. There's also a lowering to the east of that, Rodney, that would be about a mile and a half west of 283 that could produce as well. So we might end up getting another tornado here very shortly. We're starting to get rapid vertical motion out of this new lowering that's developing to the east.
Yeah, Mikey, we see that here on the video stream that we have here at the Chaser Desk. I can certainly pick out what you're seeing there. Again, what you see there just to the right of the electricity pole there, the line there, you can see tornado that's in progress. And then as you look off just immediately to the right of that, you see a little ragged area and a little bit of a lowering showing up, and that could certainly spin up something here very shortly. But we do have that tornado that remains in progress right now. We're going to go back to video from Storm Team 12 Chaser Lance Ferguson, who's also again on this same storm as well, and you can see the very large tornado that remains in progress. Again, Lance, Mikey, and also Brandon, all in that area to the south of Dodge City. And to be specific here, we're going to look real closely there. They're again about 5 to 7 miles off to the south of Dodge City with the very strong rotation. In fact, Ross, you may be talking about that here in a second, but I can certainly see on the behind-the-scenes radar here at the Chaser Desk, I see two distinct circulations showing up on the velocity data, which certainly shows up well with that pictures we just saw from Brandon's video there of perhaps another circulation trying to touch down. Ross?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that Ford County storm in a little bit more detail. This is the storm right here. We're going to call this storm number 1 that's responsible for all of those incredible tornado pictures that continue to come in. And the other thing that we're going to be watching is straight south of Dodge City, and what Rodney was referencing here with respect to the velocity and basically the wind is what we're talking about when we reference that here. And you can see we've got 2 very distinct areas showing up, one that's straight east of Ensign, another one that's just a little bit farther to the east. So let's give you an indication of what kind of distance we're talking about with respect to Dodge City, because from Dodge City, our first tornado is still about 10 miles to the southwest of town, the other circulation about 10 miles or so, and they're very, very close to each other. So we could potentially end up with 2 tornadoes on the ground simultaneously, something you don't see all that often, but it's not unheard of. And given what we're looking at using the radar data here, to the east of Ensign, we've got 2 very distinct areas of circulation showing up, and this is just an extremely dangerous situation. Both of them are covered by this 1 tornado warning for areas just to the south of Dodge City. I'll let you see the radar in motion, because if you're in Dodge City, you're probably wondering, well, when is it going to get into Dodge City? Well, there's no guarantee that this tornado is still going to be on the ground when it gets closer to Dodge, but we want to give you as much time as we possibly can to prepare for the worst case scenario, which would be the tornado that's in your picture there moving up closer to the city itself. And what we're looking at here is both circulations moving almost due north based on my account here of analyzing what we're looking at there. And I would suspect that we're probably still at least 15 minutes away. The storm is moving at about 20 miles per hour, so we've got another 15, maybe 20 minutes before those circulations are going to be getting closer to Dodge City. But now we're going on at least about 15, if not 20 minutes of this tornado being on the ground. Our first pictures coming in right at the top of the hour from Lance Ferguson. It was a very skinny tornado, and now look what it has grown into. We're talking about a large, violent tornado that's on the ground, and anybody that's south and west of Dodge City needs to be in shelter. We can't stress that enough. This is not one of those situations where you want to go outside and try to see it for yourself. We're bringing you the pictures live on the air. We want you to put yourself in a safe position to ride out this storm, and that's getting below ground if at all possible. We understand sometimes that maybe you live in a home that doesn't have a basement, but closets or bathrooms are good places to be as this storm continues to approach from the south. So once again, Dodge City up here to the top. What we've got pulled up here is the wind mode of Doppler radar. We've got the reds and the greens right here, and we've got basically just 2 very distinct areas that we're watching for you. One of them here, the other one back over here just a little farther to the west. Both of them appear to be about 10 miles to the south-southwest of Dodge City. We're talking about 6 or 7 miles to the east of Ensign. I'll bring on our mile marker once again and show you what we're talking about for distance from inside. There you can see about 5 to 6 miles there, and then the second circulation is easily 9 miles or so to the east of Ensign, but a very, very dangerous situation playing out here in portions of Ford County. Let's go back, and I want to show you from southwest Kansas, kind of set this whole thing up, because Merrill and I were tracking a whole bunch of different tornado warnings that continue. We've got a tornado warning for western Meade County, eastern Seward County. I haven't seen anything confirmed there, but I am monitoring some information coming in from the National Weather Service. And I believe we've also got other tornado warnings taking place now up here toward the Jetmore area. And I'll just kind of set this up for you, and then Merrill's going to take over with other storms up here to the north of Dodge City. You can see tornado warnings go all the way up through Hodgman County, Ness County, up into southern portions of Trego County. And before I send it over to Merrill, I just want to say that there is a confirmed large tornado now reported 8 miles to the southwest of Dodge City. That's the one that we've been looking at, but I also believe we've got a confirmed tornado now with the storm up there in portions of Ness County too. So Merrill, that's something we'll have to address as we continue to watch those storms.
Right, Ross, and it's not as well defined as it was a little bit earlier when we had that great couplet. What we're seeing right now is more of a general rotation of the entire thunderstorm complex. Good news in that we're not seeing it on radar. The bad news is we don't have a whole lot of eyes on this particular storm right now. So to know exactly what's going on, that's, of course, you know, as great as our technology is, there's still nothing better than the human eye to know exactly what's going on at any given time. But you can see there are reds over here, there are greens over here. Green is toward the radar, red is away from the radar. The radar's down below the monitor here from Dodge City, and so you can see that general broad broad rotation that we have with that thunderstorm complex right now. Let me see if I can put things into motion, and we may be able to kind of track, okay, there's where it was, and now it's just not showing up very well. Now, maybe the very next scan of data that we get in will show it a little bit better, but there you can see it was kind of headed a little bit to the southeast the last time. I think as I look at the most current image right now, I think I do see a few little red pixels in there. There's also another batch down here in northern portions of Hodgman County. Now, very, very rural area out through here, but I do think we probably have something is rotating, and looks like it's rotating fairly tightly right now. They're well to the northwest of Jetmore. So folks in extreme northern portions of Hodgman County, you need to be taking those tornado precautions. If you haven't already, you should have. You've been under a couple of different tornado warnings for quite some time. In fact, there are at least 2 that are still in effect right now.
Hey, Merrill, I think that
Go ahead,
part,
Ross.
that south of Ness City is where they're reporting a large tornado on the ground getting larger. That from emergency manager from Ness County.
Okay, maybe they're talking about something a little bit further to the west.
I think it's right there, just inside of Ness County, right there. Believe it to be right there.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was just talking about. So that one, obviously, we now have a confirmation on that. There is a large tornado there. Again, it's just south. Actually,
They're saying 11 southwest of Ness City.
yeah, it is actually just to the north. Let me get my pencil out here, and because sometimes it's hard to see with so many colors going on. This is more or less the Ness-Hodgman County line. So the storm that we're talking about is just on the Ness County side of that line, and so that's the area where from there right on to the east. If you haven't already, again, you have to take those tornado precautions. You need to go to the basement if you have one, or a below-ground storm shelter. If you don't have that, just stay in the lowest level of the building that you are in. You want to stay as much toward the center of the building as possible, and in as small a room as possible. It could be a closet, it could be a bathroom, anything that's going to give you the best protection that you can as far as this activity goes. So again, that's a new confirmed tornado now in extreme southern portions of Ness County, well to the southwest of Ness City right now. In fact, you can see all these different tornado warnings that are being drawn on here. And Ness City, you're in one that's actually kind of includes areas off to your east also at the present time. So lots going on with all of those thunderstorms. Let me clear that off. And we'll move back just very quickly down toward the storm southwest of Dodge City. Once again, there it is. You can't miss that couplet of information. Again, green is toward, red is away. They're bumping right up against each other. That is a great concern to us right now as far as that goes. So again, folks in and to the west of Dodge City in particular need to take those same tornado precautions at this point in time. Ross?
And Merrill, based on what I'm seeing here from the National Weather Service, it sounds like maybe our first tornado has actually dissipated with a second area starting to develop. So let's go back south and take a closer look at that storm that continues to move in closer and closer to Dodge City, where tornado warning has now been extended, and this is going to take us take us right up to 7 o'clock in the evening with a confirmed tornado still underway to the south of Dodge City. And you can still see there is a little bit of an appendage showing up here to the southwest of town, certainly something that still appears to be very dangerous, and we'll bring back in the wind mode of radar, looking for the reds and the greens and see exactly where they're matching up. And we had 2 circulations. I'll let you see this in review here over the last hour. You're going to see those 2 circulations, and now one has dissipated, and we're still looking at a fairly significant one now. I'll bring you up to the current time, and let's figure out what kind of distance we're talking about here to the southwest of Dodge City. And from town, we're now talking about 8 miles back to the southwest. So we're still talking about maybe 10 minutes before the circulation is going to come either right over the city or maybe stay just west of town, but it's going to be so close. And we'll hope that this tornado is gone before it gets to the city, but there's still no way of knowing how long this may be on the ground. This is a storm that's been rotating now for at least an hour. We've had a tornado in progress for almost 30 minutes. One circulation has basically been ingested into the parent storm, and now we've got a second one that's developed about 8 miles to the southwest of Dodge City. We'll bring you up to the current time. We've also got another tornado warning that's back to the south and west of Dodge City, and we'll address that situation here in just a second. I want to zoom out a little bit, and we'll put a storm track on this to give you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of time. And our storm track here taking this north at about 25 miles per hour. That's been the overall speed we've been addressing here. And moving at that speed, we're showing Dodge City, well, South Dodge City at about 6:48. But I think you've got maybe 10 to 15 minutes before the storm is going to be moving in closer to the city. Rodney Price standing by with additional details.
All right, thanks a lot, Ross. We're continuing to monitor not only the real-time video coming in to us here at the Chaser desk, but also real-time reports from the Weather Service. Can't tell you, Lance Ferguson letting us know that he has had a new tornado touchdown. He's about 6 miles south of Dodge. He's looking off to the northwest. Also have Storm Team 12 Chaser Mikey Gribble is on the phone. We have Mikey here this afternoon. He can relay his report as well. Mikey? Guys, do we have Mikey on the phone?
Hello.
There's Mikey. Mikey, tell us where you're at and what you're seeing here this afternoon.
I am 1 mile west of 283 on Saddle Road. There's a new tornado down. It's kind of transition between a cone tornado and a stovepipe. It's fairly strong, Rodney. Tornado would be about 2 miles, a mile and a half west of 283, just north of Saddle Road, maybe a quarter to a half mile. We're only about, I don't know, maybe a quarter mile away from it right now.
Okay, we are attempting to get some video up here behind the scenes here from Lance. We've been having some video issues there, but can't tell you, yes, continued with that tornado that is in progress right now. Mikey reporting he is seeing it about a mile and a half west of U.S. Highway 283 and about a quarter to a half of a mile north of Saddle Road. Watching that tornado in progress and continuing to see that take place there to the south of Dodge City. Getting some new reports here. Attempting as we can to get the video up here for you. Lance now telling us that he has got 2 tornadoes in progress right now. Lance, hang on here. We're going to get you on the phone here shortly. Control room, I'm getting up him to you right now as we speak. We're going to toss it back to Ross as we get all these connections here for you there. Ross.
All right, it is a lot to juggle for sure, but we want everybody in Dodge City to be prepared as this storm gets in a little bit closer because once again, based on our estimation of distance, we're talking about 7 to 8 miles to the southwest of Dodge City. There are reported to be 2 tornadoes happening right now. We saw 2 different circulations show up on the radar. I can only see one that stands out pretty well defined here, and that's what we're looking at. Once again, we're getting in closer to Dodge City now, and let's put the radar back in motion so you can see for yourself as we watch this and analyze it live on the air. It still looks to me like it's got a pretty good straight north movement to it. Haven't seen a lot of northeasterly direction to it, but this is where Lance Ferguson is watching the storm. Lance on the phone with us now. Lance, go ahead and tell us where you're at and again what you're seeing this evening.
Ross, I'm located 7 miles due south of Dodge City on 283. I'm looking off to the northwest. I now have 2 funnels on the ground, one large funnel-shaped funnel, obviously, and another smaller tornado off to the northeast of it that's whipping around quite a bit. It is not circling around the main tornado. There's enough separation between the 2 of them that it's out on its own. There's a lot of motion, a lot of updraft going on. The wind is still blowing very hard out of the southeast, which is going to provide the inflow for the spin on both of these funnels. The large tornado on the backside is large. It is not quite a wedge, but it's getting pretty good. Good size. It's now a white tornado. It's, the sun's shining in on the backside of it, so you can very well easily see it. And then the smaller one continues to keep dancing around. It acts like it wants to rope out, then it reforms and touches back down on the ground again. If this thing continues on its path, oh no, Ross, now I have a 3rd tornado. I have a 3rd tornado reaching down, touching down just out ahead of the main one. So we have 2 small ones off to the northeast of the main one, and the main one is still trucking right along and kicking up a lot of dust.
Okay, Lance, before we let you go, you're familiar with multi-vortex tornado where you get several smaller ones that go around the main one. Is that the situation now, or are you seeing 3 distinct, very different tornadoes?
Well, they were not circling around the main one. As a matter of fact, those 2 have now dissipated. It seems like there's a lot of like additional or separate rotation out ahead of the main tornado itself. I'm pushing the live streaming on it now. Those small ones, Ross, they never did circle back around or move closer to the main one. That's why I thought maybe they were 2 different ones. I'm familiar with the multiple vortices, but these were quite a distance away from the main one.
Okay, that's again Lance Ferguson now reporting tornadoes happening with this Ford County storm. You know, one tornado is dangerous enough. When we're talking about 3, now we're just kind of elevating the danger even more. So if you're in Dodge City, once again, we want you below ground. We want you in a closet, a bathroom, somewhere safe to ride out this storm as it continues to get in closer to the city. I'm not going to tell you that Dodge City is going to be missed by this storm, but if it continues on a straight north movement, there is a chance that this will miss Dodge City to the west. But it's such a close call. There's no way that we can give you the all clear in Dodge City. It's just going to be a very, very close situation here at getting closer to the city. Merrill?
Yeah, Ross, just very quickly, I wanted to kind of broaden out the view to statewide so that folks in other parts of the state can know whether they might be in imminent danger of other storms that are around. And you can see here all of those red boxes, all those tornado warnings that we have that stretch from Trego County all the way down through Ford County. Still have one down there. Well, that's coming and going. I'll tell you what, I've been watching this storm down near Liberal. It's actually off to the east of Liberal now, eastern Seward County, western Clark County. I have not seen any indication on radar of anything tornadic with that storm, but we do still have that tornado warning in association with that. Then we have all the tornado producing or potentially producing storms in that band from near Dodge City all the way on up to just southwest of Waukene. We have some new thunderstorms that are developing in northern Oklahoma, just crossing over the state line in portions of Barber and Harper counties. No indication of anything severe with any of that, so nothing to be concerned with there. And now we send it over to the news folks with some damage reports, guys.
All right, Merrill. We're just getting some initial reports into our newsroom right now from the National Weather Service, and this does match up with what the guys are saying, that that tornado there near Dodge City. Ensign, I believe it was just east of Ensign, there was a report of a home that was flattened and vehicles flipped over. And again, that report just coming in around 6:30 this evening of some damage there, again, just east of Ensign, which does match up with that tornado track that they're watching right now.
Southwest of Dodge City. Obviously a very dangerous situation. Let's go back to Chief Meteorologist Ross Jansen.
Well, thanks, Roger and Melissa. They'll continue to collect damage reports. We're monitoring live information coming in from the National Weather Service office. Our chasers in the field just helping to add to the coverage today, reinforcing how significant this situation is in Ford County. We're also getting reports of tornadoes up in Ness County. We'll get to that storm in just a second, but I want you to see the radar in motion once again as you watch the live pictures coming in from Lance Ferguson, and I definitely think we can see in his video there are at least 2 different tornadoes happening simultaneously, something that you just don't see all that often, but again, it does happen from time to time. And you can see now our rotation is getting closer and closer to the west side of Dodge City. It's broadening out just a little bit, this whole storm rotating like a top, and we are continuing to watch that tornado happening live on the air, and you can see that circulation now getting closer and closer. This is going to be bringing it in even closer to Dodge City. Let's give you an idea of what we're talking about in terms of distance as we start to see it moving to the north once again. Our circulation still estimated to be about 6 miles or so back to the southwest of town, continuing to move to the north. Still a very dangerous situation. Might be worthwhile taking that picture full so we can kind of address what's going on. Maybe I can help walk you through what we're looking at there as we watch the live pictures coming in from Lance Ferguson out of Ford County. And we started getting the tornado pictures just before 6 o'clock this evening, and what we've got there, video may be a little bit grainy, but right in the center part of your screen, you can't miss it. The tornado looks a little bit smaller than it did earlier, but that's the tornado that's continuing to be on the ground and continuing to move to the north. I definitely think we still have a lot of lowerings, and there may still be another tornado there on the right part of the screen as we continue to watch those live pictures coming in as we address the situation there in Ford County. Rodney's got some additional details to pass along.
Continue to track this very dangerous storm just to the south of Dodge City. You can see the tornado that's in progress. That's the feed coming in from Storm Team 12 chaser Brandon Ivy. And here in just a second, we're going to show you a picture, a live picture from our Skycam network in Dodge City. Right now, though, I can tell you it's nothing but rain from our vantage point there. So we're watching that closely. And in fact, there's the video for you right now. Where we're at right now, from our vantage point, we're looking off to the south, and we're in the core of the storm, which means we're getting the wind, we're getting the rain, and also quite a bit of lightning. There may be some hail. I can't see that from this vantage point, but we're just in an area where we're encased in rain, so we're not able to see any of the features of the storm that we would want to see. If you're a storm spotter or a storm chaser, you don't want to be in this spot. You want to be kind of to the south or southeast of the storm like Brandon is there. The video that you see there on the left-hand portion of your screen, you're in an area that's outside of the rain and able to see those storm features as they are visible there. But you can see we're in the core of the storm, so we're not able to see here anything from our Dodge City sky camera at this point. But we will continue to keep this pointed to the south and keep a very close eye on this storm as it continues to slowly march closer to the Dodge City area. Guys, are we going to go to Brandon or to Mikey first? Okay, let's really quickly. We've got Mikey Gribble. He's been holding on the phone. Mikey, tell us again where you're at, what you're seeing here this evening.
Rodney, I'm still in the same location, just to the west of 283, 1 mile on Saddle Road. The original tornado has roped out. There is a very large, violently rotating wall cloud that just dropped down to the east of it. The new tornado has touched down, and I think it's only a matter of time until this repeats itself right now. Okay,
so Mikey, you're saying we're seeing a video from Brandon, may be delayed just a little bit. You said that, yes, first tornado has dissipated, but the second wall cloud is now, it has touched down as a tornado?
Yeah, the original tornado, it's almost still to the ground. It's roping out right now, Rodney, but the bigger wall cloud to its east side has touched down periodically, and right now it's getting ready to touch down. And it's a large wall cloud. It's putting down a cone. So, again, this looks like a very serious situation where this could be another strong tornado.
Indeed, the storm is certainly cycling here, producing one tornado, then going in progress and getting another one touching down. Again, that's Storm Team 12 chaser Mikey Gribble. He is there south of Dodge City, continuing to watch the storm from a very good vantage point there, able to see all the features, describe them to you at home, what he is seeing there from his vantage point south of Dodge City, which continues to be, yes, there's that tornado that's in progress. Again, this is video now from Storm Team 12 chaser Brandon Ivy. You can see that larger tornado now touching down there on the right-hand side of the screen. A dangerous situation for the folks in Dodge City at this point. Merrill?
All righty, thank you, Rodney. And we're continuing to also monitor that storm up in the Ness City area where we have had confirmation of a very large tornado associated with this particular storm. And the area of concern right now is still to the southwest of Ness City, but the storm, which looked like it had been moving to the east, and maybe was for a while, the whole thunderstorm, has started to show that area of rotation moving a little bit more to the east-northeast, which is going to take it very, very close to Ness City. Can't know exactly which direction it's going to go, but anything in that northeasterly component is going to be a problem for folks in Ness City. So if you haven't already, you really do need to take that tornado precaution right now in and around the Ness City area, particularly from southwest of town, south of town, and then up through Ness City. And we'll just have to continue to track it and see the exact direction of movement. But just as Ross has been saying with the storm near Dodge City, we can't give an all clear. We can't say it's going to hit Dodge City because movement can vary from moment to moment with these storms. And as you've been hearing from our storm chasers, tornado will drop down and then all of a sudden go away, and right near it, here comes the next one. That's what we've been seeing down there to the south and southwest of Dodge City. We could see a similar scenario with the storm here near Ness City. It continues to be a very dangerous situation for folks in that area. Ross?
All right, and a brand new tornado warning's just been issued now, once again in Ford County, so we're still looking at a very significant threat here back to the southwest of Dodge City. The circulation is still very evident there as we look back to the southwest of town, raining heavily, as Rodney pointed out, in Dodge City, and that can be bothersome because when you look out your window, you can't see exactly what's coming your way because you're blinded by heavy rainfall. But the circulation, the tornado that's been reported, is still well to the southwest of town, and there may still be some large hail falling in this storm. I haven't seen any reports of real significant hail. Our main focus has no doubt been on where the tornado has been reported and following that, but there you can see the very heavy rainfall right on top of Dodge City. There's the Doppler radar itself, and that little donut hole that shows up is the rain passing right over the radar itself. The circulation, to me, looks like it may miss Dodge City to the west, but once again, it's so close, we can't give you the all clear until we get the storm farther to the north beyond Dodge City before we can sound the all clear. But this new tornado warning definitely now still does include Dodge City. Let's go to the sky cam and show you the view there. And well, what I'm looking at there, this is the lowering right here. I think definitely starting to come into view now that some of the heavier rainfall is moving out of view. So here's our wall cloud. You can see this is part of the storm. Here's the wall cloud showing up here, and although I can't see a tornado from this vantage point, we definitely have a well-defined wall cloud now coming into view. This is our Capitol Federal Skycam view from Dodge City, pointed back to the southwest, just to give you an indication of how close this storm really is to Dodge City. We'll hope that it stays west of town, but for those of you that are west of Dodge City, you are definitely in line to see that circulation pass overhead. Rodney?
Ross, those are very dramatic pictures there coming to us from our sky camera. Can also let you know here, National Weather Service in Dodge City declaring a tornado emergency for Dodge City, for Ford County, as that storm continues to have, at last check at 6:40, so about 3 minutes ago, a large and destructive tornado 4 miles southwest of Dodge City. Guys, let's, if we could show the camera there from Dodge City again. Okay, you see the very large wall cloud there, right there in the center of your screen, and it does appear, I can't tell if that's a drop of rain that's kind of blocking the view there, but that perhaps is the tornado right there in the middle of the screen there. Very dangerous situation. When we were talking to you earlier, we were talking about how the rain was right there blocking the view of the feature. Now as the storm is getting closer to Dodge City itself, now we're starting to get the heavier rain a little farther to the east and northeast of town, and what that means is that these features now becoming in view, and unfortunately very, very, very close to the city of Dodge City right now. So we're going to be talking very shortly here to a number of our storm chasers, but we're continuing to watch this very, very ominous storm there in the Dodge City area. We've got Brenda Carasso. She is live on the phone right now here from Dodge City. She's our Dodge City Bureau reporter. Brenda?
Yes.
Good evening to you. I hope you have a tornado shelter close by here. What are you able to see from your vantage point here this afternoon?
Well, I'm not in a shelter right now, but I'm at my apartment complex, and I'm halfway. My complex is kind of halfway underground, so I think I'm pretty safe here. Right now, a few people from my apartment complex are here with me. The people who lived above me just came down because we really don't have a shelter in town to go to. So right now, there's lots of hail. I would say it's close to golf ball size. It's really beating down on my windows right now. It was raining a little harder maybe about 10 minutes ago. That's kind of gone away, but the hail just continues to fall. And the sirens just went off as of right now. So it's a scary situation. I mean, we're just watching the newscast and hoping, this goes away.
Yeah, and that's what has us scared the most, Brenda. When the rain and the hail stops, that means danger is close at hand here. And I'm going to be moving the camera here just a little bit more, but you can see for yourself. Brenda, I hope your storm shelter is close by. This is a very, very ominous situation there for Dodge City. Again, the National Weather Service office in Dodge City declaring a tornado emergency as this storm is very close to the southwest side of town. Ross?
And just to recap what a tornado emergency means, because there's different levels. Obviously, tornado watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes. When the warning comes out, that means we've got indications on radar or an eyewitness account. And then when we get to tornado emergency, that's really the highest level that we can give in terms of a warning to be prepared for what could be coming your way. I think this is encouraging news, though, from this vantage point. We definitely have the wall cloud in view. We've got the heavier rain pushing out of Dodge City. I don't see anything on the ground, but we're still far enough away that we might not see some of those smaller scale features that some of our chasers and spotters can see as they're in closer to the storm itself. But from this view, this is no doubt the wall cloud. It's very, very large, but I'm looking down at the ground to see if we can see any kind of dust or debris being kicked up, and I don't see anything at this point in time, which is obviously good news given the danger that we've had now for at least 45 minutes in Ford County. This storm started producing a tornado to the north of Mineola, and we are getting reports now of the storm getting in closer to Dodge City. We're also starting to see some damage reports trickling in too. We'll have an update on that in just a second, but this is live video from our Skycam in Dodge City pointed back to the southwest. You can see where it looks like the sun is trying to come out on the back part of the storm. That's because all the heavy rain and hail that Brenda was talking about has now moved to the north of town, and now this is the business part of the storm. We've got a raindrop there on the lens. It's kind of obscuring our view down toward the ground, but we've got a wall wall cloud. We're watching all areas of it because we know that there have been not just one, but at times 3 different tornadoes happening simultaneously, and it could be anywhere right along this lowering of the wall cloud. We could get a developing tornado at any given time. But for right now, based on what I'm looking at, I don't see any debris being kicked up. I don't see any tornado happening with it, but it could change very, very rapidly. Just double checking here. I see a report now of a funnel cloud 6 miles south of Dodge City, still rotating. Haven't seen any reports of tornadoes with this storm now for maybe about 5 minutes, which as it gets in closer to Dodge City would be encouraging news. Merrill?
Ross, I think we can pinpoint this even a little bit better right now on the radar. Here's the area of rotation. You can't miss the bright greens, the bright reds right next to each other. That's around 107th Road to the west. Here's the Dodge City Airport. That's where the radar is. Then you've got downtown Wyatt Boulevard going on out here. Oops. Let me bring that back. Sometimes these things can be a little touchy. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so now we can zoom in once again. Okay, on Dodge City itself, because I really want to get you this additional information on the area that's being affected. Now, okay, there we go. Here's Highway 50 as it comes in from the right area, and it goes around kind of the north and then the west side of Dodge City. The casino over here in this area. So we're talking about just a couple of 3 miles to the southwest of where the casino is. And then again, there's Wyatt Earp, or that turning into Highway 50 as it heads on off to the west. So still a very dangerous scenario here, especially for the folks on the west side of Dodge City. Here it is. You can see. You can't do it or show it too much better than what you're seeing here. Lots of very bright greens here, reds here. Green is toward the radar. There's the radar at the airport. Red is away from the radar. And so this is the area where we've got that tornado right there near 107th Road. There's 108th Road. That's Wyatt Earp Boulevard there as it heads on out to the west over toward the Cimarron area. So anything from the downtown area on westward, if you haven't already, you've got to take those tornado precautions now. This continues to be a very, very dangerous situation. Ross?
All right, thanks, Merrill. I'll just pass along some other details on a different storm. We've got a confirmed tornado 4 miles to the southwest of Nest City. That's, of course, a different storm than what we're looking at right here. And we're definitely still watching this situation here. Rodney tells me that the tornado back on the ground. Let's check in with him now. Okay,
with the ground taking place there just a second ago. We're looking at the sky camera right now. If we can go back to that, that's the best picture that we've got with the storm there. And just a second ago, did see a brief circulation hit the ground. We had some dust fly up. Right now, I'm not seeing that. Unfortunately, I do have some. We're getting really close here to the camera, quite honestly, folks. So camera is shaking just a bit. I've got some raindrops on the lens. I'm going to move it just ever so slightly to see if we could see anything there. And right now, I'm not seeing anything there quite yet. But we definitely had a little bit of dust that got kicked up just a second ago with the storm perilously close to the south and west sides of Dodge City. Mikey Gribble, go.
We just had a touchdown. It is rapidly rotating. If anything, in the last 30 seconds, the rotation has picked up near the ground. I can't confirm that there's rotation on the ground again right now, but it's real close. I mean, it's moving right into the southwest side of Dodge City. There it is. We got dust to the ground again, Rodney, so it is down again.
Yeah,
and this
Mikey,
is not.
I've got a vantage point here right in between the water tower on the west side, and there's a large cell phone tower, and I see some extreme rapid rotation that's taking place there with that
right
you're talking about.
I am right at 56 and 2nd Avenue, so it is just to my west barely, and there is absolutely rotation at the ground right now, Rodney. Instead of more of a condensed funnel, there's a vortice spinning up. It's more of a broad wall cloud that's kicking up dust at the ground. Now it's got a vortice forming. It's kind of taken on. Okay, now it's really starting to spin up, Rodney.
Yes, it is.
This is bad. This is not looking good for Dodge City.
Yeah.
It's okay. We got more of a stovepipe now forming off the back side of the wall cloud, and the wall cloud is just hugging the ground. You're actually getting kind of vortices spinning up ahead of this main tornado that's forming off the southwest side of the wall cloud.
Okay, Mikey, stay on the phone there with us there. Yes, you can see there as we look on the sky camera here from Dodge City, And you can see there for yourself, our camera now pointing to the west, and you can see the large circulation is showing up and the debris at the ground, the debris that is kicking up there off the ground. Lance Ferguson on the phone now. Lance, tell us what you're seeing as well. Lance Ferguson, go ahead. Have we lost Lance, guys? Okay.
No, I'm here.
Lance, go.
Okay, I'm 4 miles straight south of Dodge City proper, outside the city limits. I'm looking off to the north-northwest. This is turning into a very large mezzo. There are multiple vortices that are now touching down on the ground. Over the past 5-10 minutes, we've seen debris being kicked up, a lot of debris and dust being picked up off the ground. Now it's just one big giant wall cloud that seems to be rotating and kind of touching and scraping the earth. Now we've got several different vortices that are coming out around the entire wall cloud that have been touching down. So it appears that it's just west of Dodge City, if not just on the western edge. It's very well organized and rotating very, very quickly.
Yes, indeed. Lance, we are definitely seeing ground contact there as we're looking, as you mentioned there, to the west of town there. We can definitely see the very rapid rotation. Folks, I apologize for a little bit of the shakiness here. We're attempting to zoom in the camera just a little bit to show you some of the other features there that are showing up there on the camera, but you can just see the very violent motion that's taking place with the wall cloud there, and we see those circulations touch the ground there with that storm. Boy, just turning right there on the west sides of Dodge City. Ross.
I just want to show another view here of radar as we continue to watch some of those live pictures. Do want to let people know in Dodge City, it looks like the storm is sliding by to the west part of town as we continue to watch those live images there. We're still picking up that hook signature straight to the west of Dodge City, continuing to move to the north. So the heavy rain has certainly come to an end in Dodge City as we watch the rotation now go to the west of town. But now if you're north of Dodge City and especially northwest of town, storm looks like it may be trying to organize once again a very large rotating part of this storm that could produce a tornado at any time. Just one of several storms we're watching right now. Got a confirmed tornado up in Ness County. Merrill standing by with more on that.
Yeah, Ross, I do want to confirm what you were just showing folks in the Dodge City area, that that couplet, that green versus red, the ins and outs of the winds with the storm has passed to the north of Highway 50 now, to the west side of Dodge City, and continuing to move more or less to the north. Here's the other thing I'm very concerned about, and that's a storm that's moving in on Ness City right now. It's probably got, if at a minimum, very, very strong winds. We're probably talking about 60 to 70, maybe 75-mile-per-hour winds. There are still some indications of rotation in there. So again, for folks in and around the Ness City area, and that both to the south and to the north, as well as currently to the west and eventually off to the east, because this thing has been moving to the east-northeast over the last 15 or 20 minutes. You have to take those tornado precautions right now. We don't have any visual information on that, but it's just too easy to tell from what we're seeing on the radar right now that that is another very, very dangerous storm that's going on there just around the Ness City area. We still have, in fact, we have a new tornado warning that's down to the northeast of Liberal, and still not seeing a great indication of tornadic activity, but the Weather Service continuing to indicate that there is something going on in that area. Let me pull up the reflectivity on the radar. And you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 different storms out there, any of them with the potential to produce a tornado. I think the latest information that we've gotten from the Weather Service is that these are storms that could produce a tornado, but aren't necessarily producing one right now. Boy, look at that video coming in from Dodge City. Ross?
Yeah, and let's talk about what we're seeing here, because this is now, we've got another tornado on the ground. It's being reported as a multi-vortex tornado. That basically means you've got several small tornadoes that can rotate around a much larger tornado, but you can't miss it. This in progress, live pictures as we watch it with you here on the air. This is looking from our Dodge City Skycam. A lot of wind out there, just kind of shaking the camera around. But this is now reported to be about 6 miles to the southeast of Howell, or make that 4 miles east of Howell, moving north at 20 miles per hour. So the good news for Dodge City, it looks like this is going to stay well to your west and northwest, but obviously as we watch the live pictures here, just reinforcing the urgency that we're trying to pass along to you of how dangerous this situation is in Ford County. Once again, a large tornado on the ground. The whole base of this storm cloud is rotating very, very rapidly, and with any of these areas in here, any one of these could come down to the ground and stir up some dust or potentially produce a little damage, but you can't miss what's happening here. A tornado that the storm has been organizing now in a very large destructive tornado back on the ground, continuing to push to the north. We're just about probably 10 to 15 minutes away from giving the all clear in Dodge City, as it's been a very close call. You know, a tornado emergency was issued for Dodge City because it was such a close call. But now we're looking at Brandon Ivey's video, and once again, similar pictures that we were seeing from our Skycam in Dodge City. Obviously, this whole thing here to me looks like it's the wall cloud, and the tornado's right down here at the base of your screen. It might be covered up by the lower third, the warnings that are down at the bottom part of your screen, but this is our wall cloud here, and a tornado that continues to be on the ground pushing to the north, now reported to be 4 miles to the east of Howe, continue to move to the north. And they did issue a new tornado warning. This is for Ford, Gray, and Hodgman counties until 7:30 because of the tornado that you're looking at there happening live. This is not something we recorded 10-15 minutes ago. You're watching a picture here that's coming from our Skycam in Dodge City, watching it move to the north, and you can see just an incredible debris field being kicked up down here at the ground, and something that continues to be happening with you now. We're getting close to 7 o'clock in the evening. This tornado, by my account, first came down on the ground just before 6 o'clock in the evening, and now we're coming up on at least an hour of tracking tornadoes across western sections of Ford County. And this is going to be moving up into portions of Hodgman County momentarily. Obviously, the picture just reinforcing our message here of how dangerous this situation continues to be in southwest Kansas. Now, it looks like, I can't confirm, but the tornado looks like it is getting smaller. There still appears to be some dust being kicked up, but you can imagine, you know, from the distance that we're looking at this thing, how large this circulation continues to be. It could be 2 miles wide. That doesn't necessarily mean the tornado is that wide, but the whole circulation, the rotating part of the storm is that large. And then we're looking down here at the ground to see any kind of debris that gets kicked up. And now it looks like got a little bit of a funnel there. And I still think we've got some dust being kicked up by this storm. So I would continue to call this a tornado, because by definition, in order for it to be a tornado, you've got to have some connection from the base of the cloud and the ground, even though sometimes the actual visible part of the tornado, you can't see it. Sometimes you'll see a piece of it up here at the cloud base, and then when you look down at the ground, you see dust being kicked up. So that is all we need in order to verify that there is some connection between the base of the cloud and down toward the ground. Again, this is Brandon Ivey's video as we just kind of try to address the situation here. Looking at some of the images, it's live, it's happening now. This is near Howe in northwestern portions of Ford County, a storm that has prompted a new tornado warning that will take it up into Hodgman County. And just given the overall strength of the storm, it really doesn't look like it's going to be weakening anytime soon. But you can see this storm is still rotating, and it kind of looks like the tornado has gone back up into the cloud, but definitely we still have a rotating wall cloud. We still have several funnels showing up at the base of this storm, and as it continues to move up into Hodgman County, going to continue to present an awful lot of danger with this storm now coming out of Ford County. So I think now we're just about safe to say that Dodge City is going to be spared by the storm, but now it looks like a little small tornado developing there at the base of the cloud. It doesn't look like the wall cloud's quite as big as it was 10 or 15 minutes ago, but keep in mind the storm is moving farther from the Skycam, so it's going to look a little different than it did as the storm was coming in a little closer to the city. Zooming in a little bit tighter here, what we're trying to do is figure out if it's still on the ground, and it's tough to tell. We're getting far enough away from it that it may be hard to figure that out and say with any amount of certainty whether it's still stirring up dust, but I think it is. Right there, you can still see some dust being kicked up below this tornado. Again, this is in northwestern Ford County, now to the northwest of Dodge City. If you're just now joining our coverage, we've had a tornado warning for more than an hour in Ford County, but this tornado actually came down to the ground just before 6 o'clock in the evening, now past 7 o'clock. Still watching an extremely dangerous situation unfolding here in portions of Dodge City, or around Dodge City, and in Ford County. New tornado warning being issued for Barber County, Edwards, Kiowa, Pratt, Stafford till 7:45. This is just one of several different storms we've been watching for more than 2 hours in western Kansas, and now it looks like we've got a little better definition here of a tornado that's happening live on the air. This again from northwestern portions of Ford County. Merrill's been monitoring some other storms up around Ness City. Merrill, you've got some additional details?
Well, I was just looking to see about the storm that the new tornado warning, and don't see anything in that area. There's some big storms around Medicine Lodge right now, but you can see the outline. We're going to have to double check on that. Another strong thunderstorm with a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect now to the south of Kinsley, to the north of Greensburg. And let's make our move back, though, up to the north, because we still have some very dangerous two particular areas. One, you can see a hook developing here to the northwest of Jetmore. The other is almost right on top of Nest City. So let's go to the velocities, and you can see very, very bright green. We're talking about some very, very strong winds. There's still some indication of rotation. We did have reports earlier of a large tornado with this thunderstorm complex. So again, continue with those tornado precautions there in and around the Nest City area. If you're anywhere within about 10 miles of Nest City, you need to be taking those precautions, except maybe if you're more than about 8 miles south of Nest City, because the storm is moving away off to the east-northeast. The other area just to the northwest of Jetmore, we showed you that on the reflectivity. We've got some very strong inbounds going on there. Remember, green is toward the radar. There's Dodge City. There's where the radar is. Reds are away. It's not what you would consider a perfect scenario, but certainly some very strong winds associated with that. It looks like we may have another potential tornado here right along the Ness-Hodgman County line to the north of that southern storm, because we do again have some greens and reds in very close proximity, indicating rotation in that portion of that storm. And then as we shift back down to the south a little bit, again, there's the Dodge City storm with the area of rotation now well to the northwest of town. Again, there's the radar site. That's at the airport in Dodge City, and so it continues to move to the north through the northwestern portion of Ford County right now. This is a pretty rural area, so not a lot of folks who might be affected by that, but still, if you are in a farmstead, a homestead in that area of northwestern Ford County, you need to continue with those tornado precautions at the present time. And let's go back down to the southwest once more, and you can see the complex of storms here from near Sublette on back down to northeast of Liberal. Again, very tough to pick out the rotation, if any, with those, but we do continue with that tornado warning in that part of the state as well. Ross?
And Merrill, just checking some new information, canceling the tornado warning for Lane Trigo. That might be a different warning that was issued earlier, but also confirmed tornado still reported to be 3 miles south of Nest City, moving east at 15 miles per hour. And we're still monitoring a situation in Edwards and Kiowa County where storms are capable of producing tornadoes. But this is the radar image coming out of Dodge City and Ford County, and this is the storm that you're still looking at there on the left part of the screen. We still appear to have a tornado in progress right now. That is this part of the storm where you see these rotating icons showing up on the radar, and what that's indicating, basically the radar is analyzing the imagery as we do too, helping us to highlight where the strongest rotation continues to be. And what I want to do is just once again switch over and show you what we're looking at in terms of the wind inside of the storm, and the signature is nothing short of impressive here to the northwest of Dodge City. We can give you the all clear in Dodge. It looks like the threat now has passed to the northwest of there, so some good news to pass along here. And I'm going to put a storm track on this because this is still a very, very dangerous situation now to the northwest of Dodge City. And as you watch the live pictures, we still have a tornado happening right now. This is in the northwest corner of Ford County, and once again continuing to track this to the north at speeds close to 30 miles per hour. So that's going to bring it up into the southwest corner of Hodgman County here momentarily. And once again, here's the circulation tracking it north. It's 20 miles per hour, and we don't get any towns to come up within our storm track, but if you know somebody that lives in southwestern Hodgman County, a text message, a phone call could maybe save their life if the tornado continues to stay on the ground, certainly moving to the north, once again at 20 miles per hour. We've got another interesting signature showing up to the northwest of Jetmore that Merrill was talking about. And I'll take you back to a statewide view of the radar and just kind of show you how things are looking around Kansas, because if you're watching us from Hutchinson, Wichita, you're wondering, well, when is that going to get here? Well, most of this is moving to the north, so there's no real significant threat for right now, but we do have some storms that are popping up back to the south and west of Wichita. So let's zoom into that activity. It doesn't appear that those are severe storms right now, but this environment over south central Kansas will be capable of some strong to occasionally severe thunderstorms as they continue to move in from the southwest. I'll let you see the radar in motion, these storms that are building down here across Barber County into western Harper County, showing more of a northeasterly movement and could potentially produce some smaller hail, something we'll be watching for you as we get closer, as those storms continue to get in closer to Hutchinson and Wichita. Back over to Rodney with more details.
Okay, Ross, thank you. We're continuing to watch that feed there from our Dodge City Sky Camera as we continue to watch that tornado still firmly in progress right now. As we look at the video feed there, and as we look at it there, you note on the left-hand side of the screen there, we've got a little bit of a brightness there from the, of course, from sunlight, but we've got there to the left of the water tower, we've got the tornado that remains in progress right now. What we're growing a little bit more concerned about now is that you see here just to the right of that, as we're starting to see, well, we continue to have a wall cloud that is to the east and southeast of the original tornado, and right there you see there above the water tower, but in the distance just a bit. If we get a second tornado, likely to be from those lowered features. We have Storm Team 12 chaser Ed O'Neill on the phone. He is reporting there from near the Dodge City area on this storm. Ed, tell us where you're at right now and what you are seeing there from your vantage point.
I'm on Garnett Road, northwest of Dodge City, just east of 102 Road, and there's a tornado to my north on the ground. It's has narrowed up a little bit, but it is still on the ground. It is actually moving northwest.
Okay. Ed, could you repeat that again? You said the tornado is moving off to the northwest.
It is moving northwest.
Okay. You know, folks, that's not out of the ordinary to see as the tornadoes get towards the end of their life cycle, start to move around in a little erratic fashion. We saw that with the Greensburg tornado there towards the end of its life cycle as it lifted to the north of town and then actually almost circled completely back around itself there. But you can see there on the very far left-hand side of the screen there, a tornado is appearing to move a little farther away from us, getting a little smaller in size. And note there, look there on the right-hand side of your screen there. I'm gonna keep the camera right here. You can see that we do definitely have a funnel that is appearing there on the right-hand side of the screen, just off there above the live word there and very close to the ground there. I think we're starting to see that handshake take place there from the original tornado. Now starting to see, yep, we definitely have contact now with the ground. A second tornado now has taken place. It is in contact with the ground there, a second tornado, so we now have two in progress as the first tornado continues to weaken and rope out, and now we see a second tornado taking place. We've got Mikey Gribble that's going to be on the phone. He's likely reporting that same little handshake there, if you will, as the original circulation continues to die off, and now a second tornado gaining in intensity there a little farther to the west. And we're going to look at some damage photos, I'm told, here from Mikey Gribble. We've got, you can definitely see a roof that is removed from a house there. Do we have a distance there, guys? Do we have any information? It was west of Dodge City. That's the only report that we have there for you, but you can definitely see there are some of the trees that are shredded. And Mikey, we're going to get you up here to the chaser, or from the chaser desk to the control room there. Folks, I apologize, a very fluid situation, as you can imagine. Mikey is going up there to the control room. Hopefully we can chat with him here in just a second. But again, this is a damage photo from Mikey Gribble, the west side, west of Dodge City, from that tornado that caused at least some significant roof and house damage there. Now, as we watch, looks like the original tornado has disappeared. If it's still in there, it's pretty much small, or it's completely enshrouded in rain. And now we have a second circulation that is in contact with the ground. Mikey Gribble, go ahead with your report, please.
Some of the more significant rotation happens.
Mikey Gribble, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Rodney, we just got done seeing damage. There were several houses hit about a mile to a mile and a half west of where 50 and 50 business branch off. There was power lines down. We tried to run up to the house to help, but we couldn't cross the power line. I couldn't get close enough to see if any people were hurt, but the house was missing the roof. It took the front off the house. I heard somebody yelling to call an ambulance, which we did. but we could not get across the power lines to get up there and help the people. So hopefully they're okay. There still weren't emergency vehicles on scene when we just left, but there was plenty of locals going up there to help, so we just pulled off to get back on the storm.
Okay, Mikey, you said you saw this damage about a mile to a mile and a half west of the 50 where it branches off from the business.
Yes.
Okay.
And the houses are on the north side of the road. It's right in between where the highway that goes up the west side of Dodge City. Between that is the west border and kind of where Highway 50 business branches off. That area there, the north side of the road, there were several homes hit. I saw at least one that had the roof gone, had a couple walls knocked down on the front side. Power lines are down. That was the best we could see. We couldn't get too close because the power line's in the way.
Okay, well, definitely want to take caution there, especially there if you've got power lines down. We definitely don't want you to get a situation there. Mikey, we appreciate that report. We're going to toss it to Ross.
All right, thanks, Rodney. We also have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning just issued for Harper County. So now we've got storms just to the southwest of Wichita that are responsible for some severe thunderstorm warnings. We have quite a number of tornado warnings still underway here now at 7:13 on a Tuesday evening. We've been tracking the storm across Ford County, and we still appear to have a potential tornado that continues in progress here coming out of northwestern Ford County up into southwestern sections of Hodgman County. Another very dangerous storm showing up to the north of Jetmore. We'll be getting to that here momentarily. I want to show you what's developing back to the southwest of Dodge City, and this storm here to the east of Sublette doesn't look quite as impressive as it did a while ago, but there do continue to be tornado warnings in that area. And also, just to let you know, because weather radios may have sounded in Pratt and Pratt County, that was a mistake made by the National Weather Service office in Dodge City. They had some issues with their warning software there, so this is a bogus tornado warning that's been issued for portions of Pratt County. But we still have a number of tornado warnings that continue around Kinsley tonight. There you can see big storms off to the north of Jetmore, but I want to show you the situation in south central Kansas now that we have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Harper County, with storms that are straight to the west of the Harper and Anthony area. Those are mainly moving to the northeast. Now, some of you will be wondering, are we looking at tornadoes coming into Hutchinson, Wichita this evening? It's not very likely, but we can't say with 100% certainty that that couldn't happen given the way that things are set up this evening. It's possible we could be dealing with something like that, but I think we're going to be looking at more of a hail and wind threat as these storms continue to approach from the southwest. But this is our first severe thunderstorm warning in south central Kansas, now including western and northwestern portions of Harper County, anticipating some larger hail there. And this storm to the north of Medicine Lodge could be a severe storm, but Dodge City is so inundated right now with tornado warnings that this is probably catching the primary focus of their attention right now, with all kinds of tornadic development underway, especially to the north of Dodge City. And we continue with the situation here north of Jetmore. Merrill standing by with more details.
That is exactly the storm that I wanted to show folks right now, because we've got another one of those couplets. Remember that when you see the green, it means it's going toward the radar, okay? The radar is down here at the bottom of the screen. That's Dodge City. The red going away from the radar. And there you've got the perfect couplet, bright green, bright red, right next to each other. I think it's pretty safe to say if there's not a tornado already occurring there in northern portions of Hodgman County, there's going to be one any minute now, because that is a clear sign of significant, strong rotation, not just maybe a very broad rotation of the entire thunderstorm, but very, very small area. That's more indicative of a tornadic, what we call a tornadic signature of that storm. The storm that's moved just to the west side of Dodge City and northward, continuing to do that. Not even getting as good an indication. I think we still have it there in the northern part of Ford County. Hasn't quite crossed over into the southwestern part of Hodgman County as of yet. But we're not forgetting the folks there to the northwest of Jetmore. Still getting a good indication there. We've watched this big wind move through the Ness City area right now. We've actually got a couple of different spots that have very bright greens, indicating probably 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds at least, and that continues to move on off to the east-northeast. So folks around the Ness City area and off to the northeast of that. You need to continue with tornado precautions. Even if there's not a tornado that's within that thunderstorm complex, there are very strong winds, could be the equivalent of an EF0 tornado. So straight line winds certainly still a strong possibility with that thunderstorm complex that's up around the Nest City area. Let's go to the reflectivity, and you can see very, very bright returns. Got some pinks in there indicating some of the heavier rainfall, probably some hail associated with that storm also. And then the other storm to the northwest of Jetmore, the area over the southwestern portion of that storm, that's where we have that strong indication of a potential tornado with that storm. Ross?
And Merrill, I'm just seeing a report coming in from Dodge City. There are 2 tornadoes now with that storm that's north of Dodge City. That is the same storm we've been watching almost an hour and a half now. Also, Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, about ready to issue a tornado watch into central Kansas. So we think the threat will continue for at least a couple more hours, taking us into central Kansas. There are so many tornado warnings underway at this hour. It's really hard to keep everything straight, but please keep in mind that everything's going to continue to scroll at the bottom part of your screen. So that's really just an additional place to look for details. You can see this big complex of storms now from Hayes all the way to the southwest of Dodge City, and new storms are showing up now to the southwest of Wichita. We talked about this a few minutes ago. Are we going to have tornadoes around Hutchinson, Wichita? Although not likely, it's something we cannot rule out as the storms continue to come in from the southwest. And you can see that picture there on the left part of your screen. That is still looking straight north from Dodge City as we monitor the situation now with 2 reported tornadoes happening simultaneously to the north of Dodge City. A very, very dangerous situation underway in those particular locations. So we'll strip away some of these less impressive echoes and kind of clean things up for you. You can see all of these different thunderstorms that we're watching, one north of Jetmore, one south of Jetmore. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning back in place now for Dodge City, but this looks to me like it's more of a hail and wind producing storm right on top of the Dodge City area. So that's something that you'll be probably be getting a little bit noisy here for a little while as the hail and wind threat begins to increase some around Dodge City. So as we zoom in just a little bit tighter there, you can see the heavy rain and some hail starting to come back across the city. This doesn't look like it's a rotating thunderstorm, thank goodness, but we could be looking at some hailstones maybe up to golf ball size about ready to cross the city there. So our view looking north, that's the picture there pointed north from Dodge City, as we continue to watch that very impressive thunderstorm now to the north of town that does continue to show at least the potential of producing additional tornadoes. And we are getting reports of at least 2 tornadoes happening simultaneously with that storm happening now north of Dodge City. Let's check in again with Rodney Price.
All right, thanks a lot, Ross. Very busy afternoon here as we continue to watch a number of video feeds here at the Chaser desk. Of course, there on the left, you still see from our Skycam vantage point there at Dodge City. Unfortunately, the camera that is mounted there to the pole there, unfortunately blocking our view right now of that storm, but we've got a different view to show you here from Storm Team 12 Chaser Ed O'Neill, who is on the north sides of Dodge City, continuing to track this storm. And just a little bit ago, we did have another touchdown take place of that tornado. Right now, from his vantage point, what I'm looking at here really closely, if we could take that full there, in addition to the very busy seat, of course, on the local roads there, a lot of storm spawners and storm chasers following this storm. Definitely a pronounced wall cloud that remains in play, and occasionally we've been spinning up these little funnels that have briefly touched down to the ground. Right now, from his vantage point, I don't see anything that is making contact with the ground. What we're going to do, though, is change videos here, and let's see if we can take this up full. This is from Storm Team 12 Chaser Lance Ferguson. He right now is still in that same area as we, okay, just bear with me here as we're getting the,
Lance has another tornado on the ground. He's on the phone right
all right, Lance is on the phone there, and yes, we can see from his vantage point there as we, guys, can we take that full real quick there so we can show you a little bit? There we go. You can see for yourself there the large wall cloud right there in the middle of the screen as we occasionally have those touchdowns take place. Lance, we're going to transfer you up to the control room as we do that here this evening. All right, a lot of things going on here at once, as you can see there from our vantage point there, the video from Lance Ferguson. And we'll be talking to Lance here shortly once we maintain the contact with him. From Lance's vantage point, he is northwest of Dodge City, and he is looking there at that storm that has pronounced wall cloud with it and has at times produced a tornado as well. So we're continuing to watch that here as we try to maintain contact there shortly here with Lance Ferguson, who is holding right now as we try to get that information to you. Guys, do we have Lance at all? Still working on Lance. Okay. Still a very busy scene here this evening with a number of tornado warnings across the area. And again, there's Lance's video there. We're going to take this back here and see if we can see anything from Ed's vantage point. Still looks like a pronounced wall cloud and lowering there with that part of the storm. Don't see anything right now. It's in contact with the ground. Lance Ferguson on the air. Go ahead.
Rodney, I'm currently located at Garnett and 112th Road, just on the north side of Dodge City, and looking due north. Since I've been coming through Dodge City and trying to get on the north side, this thing has dropped a few funnels. They've touched down a few times, and then they go right back up. Currently, right now, we had two needle tornadoes or elephant trunk tornadoes that touched down. They have since gone up. The wall cloud is not nearly as organized as it was when it moved into the west side of Dodge City. It makes me wonder if it's starting to lose some of its juice. It's not quite as organized or as large. But with that being said, Rodney, there is still some great rotation in it, and we continue to keep seeing some funnels that drop down and touch down and they go right back up.
Yeah, the storm scale rotation still very visible there on your feed there, Lance. So certainly a storm that bears watching, as a number of storms that we still have in the area here this evening. And we recap that information for you. Let's send it back to the studio with Ross.
All right, Rodney, we're just now hearing that Wichita is soon to be in a tornado watch, not a warning, a tornado watch. Storm Prediction Center about ready to issue that as we continue to have several different thunderstorms that are responsible for severe weather this evening. As we zoom the picture out, once again, there are so many tornado warnings in effect at this hour. The best way to keep up with all of it is to watch the information down at the bottom part of your screen. And you can see we are dealing with thunderstorms now back to the south and west of Wichita. And as we watch the radar in motion, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning now for northern Barber County and northwestern Harper County. And if you follow the movement on some of those storms, they are moving to the northeast, and potentially within the next couple of hours, we will likely see some warnings for Reno County, maybe Sedgwick County. But for right now, once again, we are anticipating a tornado watch. It's coming out here shortly that will include Reno County, and it will include Sedgwick County, including Wichita, as we expect the severe weather to continue for several more hours. Most of our tornado warnings start up around the Hayes area and go all the way back down through Dodge City and back to the southwest of town. And any one of these storms has definitely shown at least some signs of rotation. And we continue here as now getting close to 7:30 in the evening. And we still have at least a couple tornadoes happening now, one of them being to the north of Dodge City. And as we zoom in just a little bit tighter there, we're now looking at an area north of Dodge City with very heavy rainfall coming through the city right now in Dodge. There's likely to be some hail in there too, and that's why we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And this is Ed O'Neill's video that you're looking at here. I believe he's on the storm that's north of Dodge. This is probably the same storm that Lance Ferguson is on too, and we do have a tornado back on the ground. So once again, just emphasizing how dangerous and how quickly things can change, because we just checked in with Lance literally minutes ago. He didn't have anything on the ground, but now we're dealing with a tornado in progress. This again, I believe Ed is north of Dodge City. We're definitely seeing a little bit of a rope tornado developing there out of the base of this storm. This is the same one that developed near Mineola, went west of Dodge City, went near the Howell area in northwestern Ford County, and now we've watched that storm move up into the southern portions of Hodgman County. Looks like maybe the tornado has since dissipated a little bit there, but we still definitely have a funnel cloud showing up in Ed's video. Rodney?
Yeah, Ed is northwest of town right now, and we've been trying to look at the sky camera there from Dodge. We have a second storm now that's moving across the city of Dodge City, so that has completely blocked our view from looking off there to the north at that storm. And we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, by the way, for portions of central Ford County until 8 o'clock, if we have not mentioned that there. But the storm in question, again, still north of Dodge City just a little bit there. And as we look again at Ed's video there, you can see definitely have a wall cloud right here. There's a little bit of a hint of a funnel still showing up there with that as well. It looks like we've got some inflow into the storm, so while we may not have something down at ground level right now, certainly it's a storm we're going to continue to watch here, as a number of storm chasers and storm spotters are this evening. Ross?
Okay, thanks very much, Rodney. And we are continuing to monitor. We're just getting word now the tornado watch issued for Sedgwick County and Wichita will go until 2 o'clock in the morning. So the environment's going to continue to support severe weather continuing to move across the area. Rodney was mentioning the other storm coming across Dodge City. You can see it very well there. This is not a rotating thunderstorm or a tornadic producing thunderstorm there, but some very heavy rainfall and hail too. And we're still looking at a dangerous situation in Hodgman County where we have a couple areas of rotation showing up there, both south of Jetmore and to the north of town. As we take a little closer inspection of what's going on back here to the southwest of Dodge City, things are not quite as active as maybe they were a little while ago. Certainly the tornado warning that's in effect for the southeast corner of Haskell County, portions of Meade County, those storms really don't look that great anymore. But there are some storms off to the north and east of Dodge City still with tornado warnings. And Merrill's got some additional details on a storm up in Edwards County.
Yeah, Ross, we are looking at another potentially tornadic storm that's going on right now, and you can see it here over southern Edwards County. I'll get in a little bit closer in just one moment because I also want to point out, here's Ness County. I've been showing you those bright greens that have been marching their way from west to east across Ness County. Still in there, still for eastern portions of Ness County. Continue with your tornado precautions. You can see that area still encircled by a tornado warning. Can't tell for sure if there's a tornado in there, but there are definitely some very strong straight line winds over the eastern one-third of Ness County right now. The Dodge City storm complex continues to move on to the north into the southwestern part of Hodgman County. But let's get in close up now to the area here in southern Edwards County, because that is certainly an area of concern. Again, you see the greens, you see the reds next to each other, green toward the radar. Again, the radar right now is off over here on the left side of the screen. So green is toward, red is away. That's rotation. You can see it's still well to the south of Kinsley, Greensburg, way down there, and it's been moving to the northeast. Let me put things into motion. I don't know if we be able to follow the entire time that we've got that rotation going up, but there it is in there, and you can see it's moving kind of to the northeast. So folks from the Edwards, Kiowa County line all the way through Kinsley and east, you'll need to take those tornado precautions right now. Strong indication here that we've got, if not a tornado already on the ground, another one that's developing. Ross?
And Merrill, they are confirming that there is a large tornado with that particular storm. I'm also following some new reports of damage coming in from just north of Dodge City. We're told that there are power lines down, which is no big surprise here, but propane tanks are spewing gas. This reported to be 7 miles north of Dodge City. So damage starting to trickle in as we continue to watch storms that are ongoing both north and south of the Dodge City area. So we're still a long way away from being done with severe weather tonight. And as damage reports continue to come in, we would encourage you to just kind of stay put tonight, because especially for those areas both north and south of Dodge City, there could be some considerable damage as we start to assess the situation as these storms continue to move out of the area. But this area, southern Hodgman County and northern sections of Ford County, continues to be a very dangerous location to be tonight. We'll bring in the wind mode and see if we can find any kind of rotation with the storm up here to the south of Jetmore. And there are still some suspect areas in here. This is part of a storm that's been ongoing now for at least an hour and a half as it moved across western Ford County. Now we're seeing one of those warnings dropping off the screen, getting a little better, clearer picture, if you will, to the south of Jetmore. We're still looking at some rotation showing up here. This would be, let's see here, we're looking at an area that's about 10 to 12 miles or so back to the southwest of Jetmore. So obviously a very dangerous situation there. And we haven't forgotten about Ness County, where we're still watching the situation very close to Ness City tonight. Still looks like we may have a little rotation showing up with that storm. And then as we get closer to the Hayes area, we have another area that's just to the northwest of La Crosse. Looks like something a little suspect in there that could be producing a tornado. This is another thunderstorm that's also moving mainly to the northeast. So watch out, especially from Hayes south, southern Ellis County, down into portions of Rush County. We've got a circulation that's now showing up to the northwest of La Crosse. I haven't seen anything confirmed with this particular storm, but it is certainly some strong enough rotation prompting this tornado warning that now covers northern Rush County up into southern sections of Ellis County. So you'll definitely want to be prepared to seek shelter if you're in the path of that storm. In fact, let's bring you up to the current time and show you what we're looking at here. That rotation now looks to me like it's 2 to 3 miles to the northwest of La Crosse. And we'll bring back in the traditional view here of Doppler radar so we can see what's going on there. This is a big batch of thunderstorms that's going to be coming into the Hayes area. Within the next 15 to 20 minutes, there's going to be some very heavy rainfall. We're not seeing the well-defined signatures of tornadic development like we were earlier this evening when the storms were coming across Ford County. Don't see anything quite like that. So probably don't have a tornado happening right now in Rush County, but the signature on radar is still there, and we want to be on the safe side of things here, and so that's why the tornado warning issued, just a sort of a better safe than sorry sort of situation there in northern Rush County. That storm moving up toward the Hayes area, but skies darkening around Hayes. Might be worthwhile checking out the sky cam there if we can. From Hayes, we want to be looking back to the southwest. Skies will be getting darker with the heavy rain and some of that hail about to move into the city. That's going to be happening once again in the next 10 to 15 minutes, so keep an eye on what's going on there. Now we'll zoom back out. There's our picture from Hayes, and you can see the ominous looking clouds coming into the city. It's probably going to get a little noisy here with the heavy rain, and there's bound to be some hail in that storm too. I haven't seen any reports of significant hail falling with the storm that's coming into Hayes yet, but that obviously can change very quickly based on what we're looking at on the radar. Just double checking to make sure I haven't missed anything, monitoring a lot of information coming in from the National Weather Service and emergency managers, as well as our storm chasers and storm spotters. We'll kind of zoom back out so we can see how things look from a wider angle. And once again, this tornado warning here that does include portions of Pratt County was issued by mistake, so no real significant threat there in Pratt County with respect to tornadic development. But Hutchinson, Wichita has basically missed out on everything so far this evening, but we do have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning just issued now. This is going to be for much of Kingman County. We'll stop the radar and we'll zoom in to south central Kansas because now we have Kingman County involved in a severe thunderstorm warning. And we've been watching some storms in the northwest corner of Harper County getting ready to move into southwestern portions of Kingman County. Let's just double check to make sure we don't have anything rotating around in that storm. And I don't really see anything there yet, but keep in mind south central Kansas is now under a tornado watch until 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's possible that we could be looking at isolated tornadoes, not a guarantee. I don't think the tornado threat is quite as high in south central Kansas as it was farther west, with the situation still expected to be severe weather through the rest of the evening, but the tornado threat to me definitely looked to be a little bit higher farther west into portions of southwest Kansas. So as we kind of analyze the radar view once again, this is a confirmed tornado here south of Kinsley and Edwards County. Officially, portions of Kiowa County are included in the tornado warning, but the threat has moved basically out of Kiowa County now and is to the south of Kinsley. We're also still monitoring this situation here to the south of Jetmore. Still quite a bit of rotation showing up kind of right on the Ford-Hodgman County line, although it's been several minutes since I've seen anything confirmed there. And just seeing some new information now, still a large and dangerous tornado reported to be 5 miles southeast of Kinsley. So that's the storm in Edwards County. That's this one back over here just to the south of Kinsley that we're still watching there. Around Dodge City tonight, we're still looking at hail. So we'll switch back over to the regular mode of radar, and you can see a lot of heavy rain, and there is still at least the potential for some hail to fall in here. But once again, it's been a while since I've seen anything significant reported in terms of hail with this storm here in Ford County. So definitely want to not let your guard down. We're looking at the hail potential now inside of these storms, and it looks like to me some of the largest hail may be falling with this storm in extreme northeastern sections of Gray County and far southwestern Hodgman County. Those purples and pinks that you see on the radar would be indications of maybe hail a little bit larger than golf ball size, so definitely don't want to let our guard down there. But in terms of what's falling in Dodge City, we might be looking at some nickel to quarter size hail with the storm now pushing across the northern part of the city, but a severe thunderstorm warning does continue for those locations. Merrill?
Yeah, Ross, that storm in southern Edwards County to the south of Kinsley showing up very well still with the greens and the reds right next to each other here. So this is rotation. That's U.S. Highway 183 between Greensburg and Kinsley. It's just crossing over the highway as we are speaking. Again, we've had reports of a large tornado associated with this thunderstorm complex as it continues to move on to the east-northeast. So folks there, particularly over the southern sections of Edwards County, you need to take those tornado precautions now. Don't wait. Every minute can count when a storm is headed in your direction. Now, it does look like we could say that as far as that particular storm goes, the northern portions of Kiowa County that were included in that initial tornado warning probably pretty much in the clear. But let me show you what we've got on radar right now in the Greensburg area. Yeah, not just the Greensburg area, but in Greensburg, we've got a big thunderstorm that's going through as we speak. There's probably some notable hail in association with that. So folks around Greensburg, just stay indoors, stay away from windows, just in case you get some large hail, some gusty winds that could break some windows out. And then, of course, you might be looking at some potential problems as far as that goes. Now, we also have this other, if we can get over to it, other tornado warning that includes portions of Barber County on up into Pratt County. And you can see a very impressive thunderstorm complex that's in that area right now. We are getting some indications of stronger winds here to the west-northwest of Medicine Lodge, but southeast of Sun City. Not really seeing any good rotation indicated right now. This is getting a fair ways away from the radar site, so we're looking up pretty high into the storm, and what could be the rotation might be a little bit lower in the atmosphere. So we're keeping a very close watch on that. Again, to a little bit wider view, severe thunderstorm warnings now up through Jetmore, Dodge City. You can see more here to the east of Dighton. Let's go back into our regular radar mode.
And sirens are going off in Sawyer in Barber County.
Sawyer, okay, in Barber County. So again, we've got that tornado warning. We were just showing you, just once again, just wanted to show you the large area of very intense thunderstorms right over the midsection of the state here from around Hayes. Two separate tornado warnings still in effect in Ellis County, one in the southwest, one in the southeast. You can see that complex of storms there. Also over the eastern sections of Ness County, still tornado warning going on there. And then we've got the storm to the south of Kinsley. This is the bogus tornado warning that came out a little earlier from the National Weather Service. And then here's the new one that Ross was just talking about. So let's get in on that thunderstorm complex. And you can see the activity near Medicine Lodge. Let's go in even a little bit tighter than that. And there's Sawyer. So that's the area of concern right now around the Sawyer area in southern portions of Pratt County. But also you can still see we've got some suspect areas here on the southwest part of that thunderstorm complex off to the west-northwest of Medicine Lodge and just to the southeast of Sun City. So folks over the northern portions of Barber County, the southern and particularly south central and southeastern portions of Pratt County, continue with your tornado precautions as storms move into your area. Ross?
And Merrill, we just got another report of a tornado that's on the ground. This would be 8 miles south of Jetmore. So that's this storm that we're looking at here. South of Jetmore, a spotter reporting that the tornado had come back down to the ground. I'll let you see the radar in motion. It's still moving to the northeast at speeds close to 20 miles per hour. It's one giant cluster here of thunderstorm activity over southern Hodgman County, but embedded in some of this continues to be some strong enough rotation. And once again, we did get a confirmed report from an eyewitness account there of a chaser telling us that there is a tornado 8 miles to the south of Jetmore. So once again, a very dangerous situation now continuing in portions of Hodgman County. We will probably see an additional tornado warning issued here as we're dealing with a situation that's changing now. Just double checking new information that's coming in, getting a report 2 miles north of Spearville in Ford County of a potential tornado there. So a lot of stuff happening here around Dodge City. For right now, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, including Dodge City, as we've been watching some larger hail move through that area. Now the core of the storm has shifted up to the north of Dodge City, and as we watch the radar here animate, you can see that storm just about getting ready to move out of the city itself. The warning does continue, though. I haven't seen any reports of real significant hail from Dodge City, so that's some encouraging news. And you can see there are other isolated storms that continue to redevelop back to the southwest, and we're talking about areas now of southwestern Gray County, eastern Haskell County, some strong thunderstorms there. But just kind of setting everything up here for you once again, I'll zoom the radar out and just provide you with a summary of what's taking place here, because we still have quite a number of counties involved in tornado warnings. We've got the large dangerous tornado that's still in progress in Edwards County to the south of Kinsley. We now have a brand new tornado warning. No surprise here, just being issued. This is for Hodgman County because a chaser did confirm that there was a tornado that touched down 8 miles to the south of Jetmore. That storm still pushing to the north. And then as we go back up toward the Hayes area, once again, we're talking about dangerous thunderstorms. And we still have a tornado warning in effect for portions of Ness County, goes all the way up toward the Hayes area and stretching down into northern sections of Rush County. I have not seen any confirmation of any kind of tornadoes within this complex of storms in Ellis County or northern Rush County. Certainly some encouraging news there, but it is definitely looking to be some hail and wind producing storms. Now, we're also getting a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Barton County, stretching up into Russell County, part of that same complex of storms, now coming across central Kansas and likely to be dealing with some hail and wind there. But you can see all of the red boxes showing up, indicating where our tornado warnings continue tonight. At this point in time, passing 7:30 in the evening, there are at least 2 confirmed tornadoes that we can report with a high level of confidence, that being south of Kinsley in Edwards County and to the south of Jetmore. A trained weather spotter did confirm that there was a tornado ongoing there. That again from Hodgman County. Merrill?
Well, that storm in Edwards County, as you said, Ross, continues to show strong indications on Doppler radar of strong rotation. And again, we are being told that there is still a large and very dangerous tornado. Last report from spotters was about 4 miles to the southeast of Kinsley, and that's US 183. You can see how it kind of does a little zigzag there between Greensburg and Kinsley, continuing to push off to the east-northeast, and it looks like it's going to continue to be a very dangerous scenario. Let me double check the speed of movement on that, and let's see, should be about 20 miles an hour. So let's get a quick storm track on this thing. Should be right about there at 20 miles an hour. There we go. Should be in Lewis at about 8:01, and it's currently 7:43. So still have a little bit of time. But again, if you're in that area from south of Kinsley on over toward Lewis, you need to be continuing with your tornado precautions at the present time as that tornado warning continues for your area. Also, we'll be moving down a little bit further to the southeast. I want to get back to that storm that's near Sawyer. And again, not picking up real good indications of the rotation, but again, we are a long ways away from the radar at this point and looking way up into the storm, so may not be seeing the entire picture of what's going on with that thunderstorm complex. But again, we do have that tornado warning for northern portions of Barber County and that south central and southeastern portion of Pratt County. Still some very dangerous scenarios that are going on out there now into south central Kansas, as well as the storms that are across the southwest and all the way on up into the Hayes area. Ross?
And Merrill, they did just issue a new tornado warning. This is going to be for Edwards County because of that large tornado that continues to be in progress, moving to the northeast at speeds of close to 25 miles per hour. You can see we have a big batch of thunderstorms working its way now into central Kansas. Severe thunderstorm warnings recently issued for Russell and Barton counties, expecting that there will be some larger hail falling there. As we stop the radar, I want to show you what's going on up toward the Hayes area, because as the skies continue to darken and with tornado warnings coming up right to your doorstep, let's just kind of set things up here for you. We haven't had any confirmation of tornadoes in this area, and that's some encouraging news as we start to see those storms getting in closer to Hayes. Now, there is one area, but once again, we're getting far enough away from the radar that looks a little suspect here to the south and east of Shinshin, to the north of La Crosse. Looks like we've got a little bit of a signature showing up there in northern portions of Rush County. I'll let you see the radar in motion so I can kind of take a closer look at things and see how it's evolving over time. This could be an organizing area of rotation that we're looking at, but once again, I haven't seen any reports coming in via the National Weather Service or chasers or spotters in that area confirming any kind of tornado that would be in progress, but that would be one area to keep an eye on here as we continue to work our way through this Tuesday evening. The tornado warning does continue for portions of Ellis County. Latest warning that we have here would indicate a tornado warning does continue for Ellis County until 8 o'clock in the evening, so another 15 minutes there. And there's a separate tornado warning in effect for the western part of the county also until 8 o'clock. But the most dangerous area of circulation that I'm looking at is just south of the Ellis County line. That storm continuing to move to the northeast. That's just one of several different storms that we have out there this evening. We'll go back over to the regular mode of radar. And just kind of show you, that's part of a line of storms that now extends just to the west of Hoisington, where a severe thunderstorm warning has recently been issued for much of Barton County and Russell County too. And we'll put a storm track on this because we expect the hail to be fairly substantial, at least 1 inch in diameter, and along this leading edge here, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour into Hoisington at 7:54, Susank at 8:06, Gorham at 8:12. Russell, the storm could be getting to you before 8:30. Once again, expecting wind and hail to be the primary threat with any of these storms across Barton County, eventually southern Russell County, back into portions of Ellis County. And as we slide the radar a little farther south, continuing to monitor the situation back to the southwest, you can see there's the big storms now moving across Pawnee County. The tornado warning that Merrill was talking about in Edwards County continues to be on the ground. And this storm in southern Hodgman County is quite impressive. We're still expecting that this storm is producing a tornado. We got the report coming in about 8 minutes ago, 8 miles to the south of Jetmore. So that would put us in an area basically getting into south central Hodgman County. So from Jetmore, go 8 miles to the south of town, and that matches up right there, showing up very nicely here. Once again, the wind blowing away from the radar, the wind going in toward Dodge City, definitely just to the south of Jetmore. We can still see it on the radar, and that continues to be an area that we'll have to monitor for the potential of something to develop out of this circulation. Once again, chasers in this area did confirm that there was a tornado, and the circulation is looking better and better with respect to where that report came from. You can see now rotating almost right along Highway 283 just to the south of Jetmore. So if you're in Jetmore, we're getting closer and closer to it getting dark outside when we'll lose a lot of those eyewitness accounts. But Jetmore officially in a tornado warning. We would encourage you to seek shelter below ground at once if you haven't done so already. Get to a small interior closet, lowest, most center portion of your home, and put as many walls between you and the tornado as you possibly can, because now you can't miss it. That couplet that Merrill has been talking about, the circulation, however you want to describe it, it's showing up better and better with each scan of the radar that we're getting now just to the south of Jetmore. And so that's definitely something that we'll have to continue to watch out for there, as the tornado warning does continue now for Hodgman County. And we did get a confirmed report of there being a tornado. It's now reported to be wrapped in rainfall. This coming in 6 miles to the south of Jetmore, a rain-wrapped tornado in progress right along Highway 283, and that is still moving to the northeast. So let's put a storm track on it, because it's still moving northeast at around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Looks like it may miss Jetmore just a little bit to the southeast, but it's going to be such a close call. Here we can see it moving toward the Hanston area at around 8:39 this evening. Once again, confirmed tornado with this storm. 6 miles now south of Jetmore, and the circulation coming right over Highway 283. That's the one that we're looking at right there. So we have at least 2 reports of tornadoes happening right now south of Jetmore and also out of Edwards County, the storm that Merrill was talking about a little bit earlier. Go ahead, Chelsea, tell me again. Okay, we do have additional damage reports coming into the Eyewitness News newsroom. Let's send it over to the anchors for the latest on this.
All right, thanks, Ross. You guys take a rest here for a minute. We do have some reports near 13th and Division. I believe this is on the west side of Dodge City, where people were trapped in a basement and people were trying to get them rescued. Also a propane tank spewing gas in the highway near Dodge City. And US 50 between Dodge City and Cimarron is closed because of storm damage.
And some other reports we're getting in: structures damage 110th Road 6 miles north of Dodge City. A home and barn damaged 5 miles east-southeast of Ensign. And then we also know southwest of Dodge is reporting some major damage right there. And we're waiting to get more of those storm reports coming into our newsroom. We also want to relay to our viewers out there that the weather radios in Ellis County are not working right now. Emergency management is setting up sirens as we speak. Again, those weather radios in Ellis County are not working. You're going to have to listen for those emergency sirens from emergency management.
And no confirmed reports of any injuries at this point. We continue to check with the emergency management. And I believe he has some storm shots to look at. Here we have from Sergio Ramirez in Dodge City, some pretty large hail. You can tell by the coins there how big those are. From Jane Schumert, also in the Ford County area, Dodge City.
All right, now let's head on over back to Chief Meteorologist Ross Jansen with an update on the weather. Ross.
Well, Melissa, we do continue to monitor the tornado warnings that are still in effect at this hour for portions of Edwards County. We also have the danger situation continuing into Hodgman County, where we got that report of a tornado that was wrapped in rain 6 miles to the south of Jetmore. The circulation still very evident on radar. A lot of heavy rain coming down, some hail still expected in this location as well. And I'll take the radar and we'll go back to the north with it, because for those of you up toward the Ellis County area, we still have a lot of dangerous weather moving into your area. We haven't had anything confirmed with this storm coming out of northern sections of Rush County, but as the storm moves up into the southeast corner of Ellis County, there is that chance that we could see an isolated tornado be produced out of the storm moving through the southeast part of Ellis County. Those counties are both under tornado warnings right now. And so you'll definitely want to seek shelter if you're in the path of any of these storms. In the city of Hayes, heavy rainfall coming down. There's probably some hail in here as well. We'll stop this. I want to show you what we're looking at in terms of hail that's going on inside of this storm, because that's going to be one of the threats that we'll have to deal with here for the next little while. These storms have been coming in from the southwest, and they're still looking to be at least maybe some nickel-sized hail in that storm around Hayes. Kind of scanning back to the southwest. Don't see any real significant hail in this showing up in southwestern parts of the county. The hail size looks like it maybe grows a little bit there as we get to the south of Galatia there in the western portions of Barton County, where we might be looking at some hail up to 1 inch in diameter. But these storms don't look to be quite as intense as they were a little while ago. Certainly good news there, but these storms a little bit farther to the south bear watching, because we're still seeing at least some rotation here with this storm now to the south of La Crosse. This would bring us down a little farther into portions of Rush County, and I do want to check and see what we've got as far as the wind goes inside of this storm around La Crosse. Nothing that really stands out to me, but a tornado warning does continue for the La Crosse area and northern sections of Rush County, so you'll definitely want to continue to monitor that situation very closely. Merrill?
Ross, I'm taking a little bit closer look at that storm in the southern portions of Edwards County right now. We know that it has passed to the south of Kinsley. It moved right over Highway 183 down here, just to the south of town, and now is continuing on that east-northeastward movement. Let's see if we can get in on those winds associated with the storm. I've switched the radar that you're looking at right now from the Dodge City radar to the Wichita radar. I wanted to compare the two. The Dodge City radar, all of a sudden not showing that couplet as well as it was a little bit earlier. Not really all that good here from the Wichita radar, but you can see in general, green toward the radar. Remember, Wichita's out over there on the east side of this view, and then we've got the going away, the reds going away from the radar. So there's still some kind of rotation in here to the southeast of Kinsley, to the southwest of Lewis, and continuing on to the east-northeast. So again, if you're anywhere over toward the Lewis area, southward from there, and then over toward Truesdale. Now you can see Truesdale is not included in the current tornado warning. We'll have to keep a watch on that, see what the National Weather Service does. But for folks to the southwest of Lewis and then on up into that direction with the movement that we've been seeing with this storm, that's certainly what we're going to continue to be very concerned with. We know that there was a large tornado reported with that storm. You can see the couplet showing up from the Wichita radar there for a while, and then we kind of lose it a little bit. It's in there somewhere, folks. Still could be a significant tornado that's going on with that particular storm as it continues to make its way onto the northeast, or maybe a little bit more of a east-northeastward movement than straight to the northeast, but nonetheless, southern portions of Edwards County continue with those tornado warnings at this time. Ross?
Okay, Merrill, just double-checking some new information. Good news to pass along. The tornado warning for portions of Ellis County is going to expire, I believe that at the top of the hour. So as we go back to the north and kind of look at the situation up here around the Hayes area, I believe this western tornado warning will be expiring. Both of them, I think, go until 8 o'clock, but this one for sure looks like it's going to expire, and this one maybe too. We just haven't had any confirmation. Now, there are still some indications of rotation with the storm east of Shinshin to the south of Hayes, but we don't have anything confirmed on the ground, and it looks like at the top of the hour, the National Weather Service is going to allow those warnings to expire. But this is just part of a big batch of storms continuing to move to the northeast. And so we're definitely still monitoring for additional tornadic development that could be showing up over portions of central and south central Kansas. There are new severe thunderstorm warnings being issued for portions of Harper and Kingman County. So although we haven't talked a whole lot about Wichita this evening, we're not completely out of the woods for seeing severe weather around here, because you can see these very intense thunderstorms back to our southwest continuing to move to the north northeast. And there's a possibility some of that will get into Wichita, but we still think it's probably at least an hour away, if not longer. So big batch of storms from Hayes and I-70 south. New severe thunderstorm, well, that's one that does continue for Russell County there, but these storms go all the way down now from west of Wichita out toward Dodge City and north up toward the Hayes area. We still have tornado warnings in effect for northern Barber County, southeastern sections of Pratt County. We still have a tornado warning in Edwards County, and then until the top of the hour, these warnings up here around Hayes. We still have at least one confirmed tornado being reported out of Edwards County, and about 5 minutes ago we did get a report of a tornado that crossed highway, well, it would be south of Jetmore. That was reported to be about 6 miles to the south of Jetmore. Now officially it's a severe thunderstorm warning for Hodgman County, but we had that circulation that was showing up pretty nicely there on the radar. And so as we zoom back in a little bit tighter, we're definitely still seeing a lot of heavy rainfall here around Jetmore, with the potential of an isolated tornado that could develop out of the storm in sections of Hodgman County. So a lot of severe weather still underway tonight. Hail and wind producing storms becoming the predominant situation that we're looking at now, but still an isolated tornado, something we can't rule out, especially in Barber County and Edwards County, where the circulations are still evident on Doppler radar. Merrill?
Well, Ross, at this point in time, we still have 4 tornado warnings that are in effect from up around the Hayes area all the way back down to that one that's for portions of Barber and Pratt counties. But at the top of the hour, which is about 2.5 minutes away from now, 3 of the 4 will be expiring. Now, we don't know yet if the Weather Service is going to extend some of those tornado warnings, but if they do let the 3 go that expire at the top of the hour, the only one that'll be left is the one for southern Edwards County. You can see that Kiowa County, a little bit of northern Kiowa County was in the original warning that was issued in that area, but you can see there's no activity with that thunderstorm complex in Kiowa County. There are other thunderstorms in the eastern part of Kiowa County that are included in a severe thunderstorm warning that stretches over into the southwestern portions of Pratt County. But you can see it's still an extensive area with a lot of strong to severe thunderstorms from just north of Dodge City all the way on over to just southwest of Kingman and all the way up there through the Hayes area. So still a lot of active weather going on at this point in time. We do still have a tornado watch in effect for much of western Kansas that goes until midnight. The newer one, Ross detailed for you a little bit earlier, that does include the Wichita-Hutchinson area. That's going to be in effect until 2 o'clock in the morning. Ross?
And Merrill, they did just issue a new tornado warning. This is going to be for Barber County and also for the yes, it is for Barber County, and this is going to go until 8:30 in the evening, because we still have a storm capable of producing a tornado there. But you can see this big cluster of thunderstorm activity. We'll put the radar in motion so you can see it for yourself. Just about everything either going north or northeast at roughly 25 to 30 miles per hour. I do see that we do have a new report of some hail coming out of Ness City, and these storms have been really packing quite a punch. There's some quarter-size hail, that report several minutes ago, but this is going to continue to move into central and south central Kansas. So let's zoom in a little bit closer. We'll bring this back toward the Wichita area just to kind of show you how close we are to seeing some thunderstorms around here. And it's going to be a while yet, because most of this in Kingman County is still moving mainly to the north at speeds of 20 to 25. So for Sedgwick County, we're not out of the woods of seeing some severe weather later on in the evening, but once again, it's probably going to be 9:30 before anything really starts to threaten our area. Some new storms there popping up in the southeast corner of Stafford County. So several counties still under severe thunderstorm warnings. We still have a couple counties under tornado warnings, but at this point in time, I don't believe that we have anything confirmed on the ground, which would be encouraging news, but the threat is still out there tonight and something we'll continue to monitor for. Our coverage is going to continue on 12.2. As we get additional details, we'll certainly be back on the air to keep you updated through the rest of the evening. And good evening, everybody. We are tracking some dangerous weather still across portions of central Kansas. We still have a tornado warning in effect. This is for portions of Edwards County. This is still appears to be a tornado in progress now to the east of Kinsley. It's going to be moving up toward the Belpre area. There are still a lot of indications on radar confirming that there is likely to still be a tornado happening at this time. I'll switch over and show you the wind mode of Doppler radar because this is fairly significant here. We're talking about an area that's to the east of Kinsley, and it's several miles away from Kinsley. It's actually probably closer to Belpre than anything else. There were 8 miles to the southeast of Kinsley, and from Belpre, we're talking about an area that's about 7 to 8 miles back to the southwest. So the circulation is very intense, and we've had at least one report in the last 10 minutes of still a tornado happening at this hour in portions of Edwards County. So the tornado warning continues there. You definitely want to be seeking shelter if you're in the path of this storm. I'll put a storm track on it. It's still looking to be moving east, maybe a little east-northeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour. So if you're in Belpre, you need to be getting below ground. Farmington at 8:58. That would bring it over into the western side of Stafford County. This appears to be the only tornado happening at this hour, but still a very dangerous storm in Edwards County as we watch it there. Now, we're looking at a fairly intense thunderstorm in Hodgman County. A severe thunderstorm warning does continue for large hail, strong winds. The warning till 8:30. Now we go back to the north. A lot of hail and wind producing storms moving across Rush County, stretching up into Ellis County. I don't see anything tornadic with any of this showing up in Rush County, eastern Ness County, up into Ellis County, even Russell and Barton counties. These are mainly hail and wind producing storms, but hail could be as large as golf ball size with some of those storms there. And speaking of golf ball size hail, just in the last little while near Zenda, southwest corner of Kingman County, golf ball size hail has been reported near Zenda or to the west of Spivey. And as we put the radar in motion, that thunderstorm complex mainly moving to the north, but most of Kingman County included in the severe thunderstorm warning as well. So stay indoors, stay away from windows. The tornado warning for Barber County may be canceled early, but strong thunderstorms do continue. That's okay. We're getting ready to go back on. Oh. And good evening once again. We are tracking a severe thunderstorm and even a couple of tornado warnings right now across portions of central and south central Kansas. Let me show you what we have going on right now. We do have this area of rotation that's still showing up in portions of central Edwards County. This is still a very dangerous storm. We've been tracking this mainly to the east, northeast at 25 to 30 miles per hour. And so you'll definitely want to continue to stay in your storm shelter as we watch this storm move basically to the east. I'll show you what we're looking at in terms of wind inside of the storm. It's been incredible, and as we move the radar view just a little bit farther, the map just a little bit farther to the east, we're going to get actually Wichita to come back in view so you can see the circulation that we're looking at is just to the southwest of Belpre, and this thunderstorm continuing to move mainly to the east. We just heard from Tony Lawback, and he was telling us that the tornado appeared to be wrapped in rain, which is no big surprise given the radar signature that we're looking at tonight. So as we draw this storm track on here and take the tornado showing an east-northeast movement at 25 to 30 miles per hour, going to be a very close call for Belpre, but anybody in that area should be seeking shelter if you haven't done so already. Into Dillwyn at 9:07, the storm continuing to show very strong indications of producing a tornado, so a very dangerous situation underway in Edwards County. We also have a new tornado warning to tell you about for south central and southeast Pratt County down into northern Barber County. As we watch this area of rotation continuing to work its way to the north, tornado sirens were going off in Sawyer. We haven't confirmed a tornado with the storm in northern portions of Barber County, but it is a dangerous storm to say the least. Now, the storm in western Kingman County has produced golf ball size hail. The hail size might have come down just a little bit in size, but that storm is moving almost straight to the north. So I think in Kingman, there's no real significant threat of large hail there, but west of Kingman wouldn't be surprised to see some larger hailstones coming out of that that storm, we'll continue to monitor. The storm north of Jetmore looks like it's weakening. Good news there, but other strong thunderstorms continue across Rush County up into Ellis County, and radar in motion shows that most of this is either moving east or northeast, producing very heavy rainfall. Still a threat of some hail in here, and wind gusts may be up to 60 miles per hour. But two different tornado warnings still in effect at this hour, including portions of Edwards County. That's the storm that you're looking at here. Storm off to the southwest of Belpre. And then we also have the tornado warning that continues for northern Barber County, South Central and southeastern Pratt County. It does not include Pratt, and also Medicine Lodge not included in the tornado warning. But obviously a very dangerous situation still unfolding tonight in portions of South Central Kansas. We continue to monitor, and our coverage continues on 12.2.